That's all. We're supposed to, this is where we were supposed to be.
Am I live too?
Yeah, you guys are supposed to be there. You're live too now. The video can't contain this. No! Yeah, it's
I was even singing my fake live song.
Yeah, but we were muted. They just saw me, like, sitting there.
Being a weirdo?
Yeah. Now we're on our starting soon screen, but they can hear us, so we're doing everything wrong. We were inaudible in the real screen, and now we're audible in the starting soon screen.
I can't even believe it.
What's up, motherfuckers? Let's go.
Oh,
Let's go.
no!
What? Rinzade with the gifts. I can't talk today.
Those are gifts, not gifts.
People are saying
Thank
you have the gift of Apollo on account of your prediction about a sun god.
Camera-tageous.
Hey, can I start with?
There's going to be some new people here. I didn't say my thing yet.
Oh yeah, you do your thing. Then I'll start with my little detail about my day.
What's up, squishies? It's time for squishing.
It is squishing time. Everybody, you will notice today. There's a chance you'll notice today if you pay close attention that I'm going to be loopy and exhausted. You might think to yourself,
a treat.
Great. You might think to yourself, why are you loopy and exhausted, Drawk?
I
forgot to fix dog cam. Doggy, come here, my boy. I went to a concert. Hello, my boy.
Hello, Andy. Welcome.
I went to a concert yesterday, and we live on an island. Did you know that? That was a question. That wasn't a rhetorical question.
Is that for me?
That's for you. Did you know that we live on an island?
Is it surrounded by water on all sides?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it attached in every way or no way?
Attached in 0 ways to the mainland of North America.
You're right then, that's an island.
Okay, so they don't do a lot of concerts, even for bands who come from even smaller islands like Mother Mother, which is rude, on islands. So I had to go to the not island. And you might be thinking, your stream starts for your time in the early afternoon, so what did you do? Sleep in the lineup for the ferry in your sedan? That is exactly correct. After the ferry, after the concert, my wife and I drove to the ferry terminal and slept in a parking lot in our sedan.
That's a choice.
Yeah, so that's how I got here to do the stream today. So I'm a bit tired.
I'm not tired. Want to know why?
Why's that?
I was in a car accident.
Do you want to talk to the people about your experience in car accident?
I got hit from behind hard trying to push me into the highway, which was not a nice choice. I didn't want to do that. I'm fine.
You've concerned the people.
I'm fine. Thank you so much for the gifts.
Thank you for the gifts, everybody. Oh my god, that's a lot. That's a lot of gifts. The hype train is going. After
I got in a car accident, then I couldn't sleep very well the first night because I felt owie. And then I guess last night Dada gave me some of his good anti-inflammatory drugs from the doctor. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and then I went back to sleep at 8 and I slept till 10:30. So I feel like a freaking $1,000,000. A little sore.
You had all the sleep you could get.
I got so many sleeps. My neck hurt. Thank you, Prezero 10. My neck hurt. Whoa, thank you, Dark Prezero. And
oh my goodness.
Now my hip felt popped out, but my lower back hurt. But I feel a lot better now. Like, that was a really powerful pill.
I'm glad the pill was powerful.
You have no idea. I think it was a devil fruit. I feel like a very different person today.
I slept fine is the interesting part. I just didn't sleep a lot on account of had to be up. We had to be up and rolling. Although my wife was very nice and did the driving in, and I just slept in the back with my feet in the trunk of our sedan as it rolled up the stretch towards the ferry lineup and then onto the ferry. I got a lot of sleep through the morning on.
Did you get upper deck
for waking up early? What?
Did you get upper deck?
Yeah, because I book reservations when I travel because I'm a straight up
Yeah,
G.
baby.
Yeah,
Upper deck is
book
straight up.
reservations. Don't have to get out of my car.
I love reservationing.
It's a good thing you said reservationing instead of reservations because that could be taken in a number of ways.
Yeah, no, I'm in Canada and have Native ancestry. I'm not going to talk about love and reservations. It's just not a good plan. Good morning, again from Japan, Dark Lord. You're off in Japan.
I'm not going to
making life good.
I'm not going to repeat it, but I do love that my one reservation joke I made while I was still editing the videos, so my editors who have good sense weren't there to take it out, and I get to just have that for me.
Yeah.
So many gifts. Oh my goodness, everybody.
Did you know that your nieces have both drank from a bottle now? So if they keep doing this, they're going to get their feeding tubes out.
Exciting.
Yeah. I mean, your sister has to do all the work to get the food for the bottle still, but look at their feeding tubes out in the ICU, which is a big step.
People are correct, by the way. When
Good evening
they say
from
this,
Sweden.
We are finally here. We've been waiting for a long time. Do you see why we got so many patrons to join to watch along with you? Do you understand after seeing what's happened?
You know what's funny?
This is the getting into it moment. This is the getting into it because we gotta get a lot done. It's Father's Day. We gotta get into this everything.
Shit. Let's get into this. Good afternoon from Germany and from Sweden and from Japan. This is fucking awesome. Thank you, Dark Lord. I am myself now. Yeah, I get why people thought I was cheating.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen how far into the future the thing I was sure was going to happened, I'm like, that's why people...
But also, how literally it happened that he is called the sun god and his fruit is secretly a sun god fruit?
Yes.
Like,
I actually feel like it's kind of wild now. I'm like, yes, he's going to be a sun god. And now I'm like, I think I get why people were so freaked out by it now. Since Little Garden. Yeah. Since Little Garden, I was like, he's a god. And then I think it was just before Jaya or in Jaya that I was like, he's the sun god. Because that would make it the center.
Yeah, Little Garden was gods are literal. And then a quick note of, I think Luffy's a god. And that was crazy. And then Jaya was like, oh, I didn't say he's a sun god. Thought I did already.
I had already decided he was a sun god because of the different prophecies and narratives that I've been reading. And then I was like, oh, I meant a sun god. And then you even pulled me. Did I tell you guys, did we ever tell them about you pulling me aside at a family party to ask if I was trying to hype up the stream by reading ahead? And then I looked at you and I was like,
yeah, because I forgot this, but I was like, dude, I got to do my due diligence to know what's up, to know what our deal is and what we're doing as creators. Like, is this going on? Have you been looking ahead?
Done this thing?
Which I know might have confirmed for her to double down on it, but you guys have to be real. If I'm gonna be, I just realized I got to turn.
You didn't ask specifically about that at all. Yeah. All you did is you just said, have you been reading ahead? You've been making some wild claims lately, and I just need to make sure that you know I don't need you to read ahead. This is just fun. And then I looked at you and said, no. What thing did I get very close to that's making you ask that?
Like, I felt like...
And you were like, what? I'm not telling you.
We got light. I felt like I had to do my due diligence as a creator to be like, yo, are we being honest right now by saying this is a first-time unspoiled read-through? Like... Yeah, and I was like, dude, what did I get so close to that's making you this pressed? And you were like, what? I'm not telling you. And I'm like, I got close to something. I'm right about something. And you were like, that's all I'm saying. I just needed to know. It's... I revealed in our watch-along stream that there's a chance I planted an idea in your subconscious because before our stream started, I'd been trying to get you to read One Piece, and I was talking to my friend Kristen at a party. When was this? It was, it would have been like, it was around the time that this was happening in the manga. So it was like almost a year before we started the stream. I had tried to get you to read One Piece. You got a little ways into it and then stopped. I was talking to my friend Kristen about what had happened, and I brought up the Sun God, and you were like, you came up to me like, hey, don't talk about it. I might read that one day. And I was like, well, you're not going to remember any of this. And you were like, well, or no, it was, I said, well, you didn't hear any of it and you won't remember any of it. And he's like, no, I heard something. There's something about a god. And I was like, okay, cool. You heard something about a god. And then I stopped talking about One Piece for the night because I was like, well, I don't want to spoil it for you if you do start reading. So I think there is a chance that sat in your subconscious. And I want to be fully,
right now,
fully open about
100% no.
Okay.
Everything happened because the chat said Usopp is our god. I didn't even remember that when you said it. Like when you said, yeah, I said this to you years ago, I was like, yeah, I don't even remember that. But then again, if you think about it, I often don't remember the cool things I tell you in our conversations beforehand and require you to tell me what I said.
This is another thing. This is another thing. So if people have been watching the YouTube videos as they come out, there was a prediction you made offhand. I told you about this in Dressrosa that I didn't feel that much hype for or remember, but someone pointed out because the video just came out that because of new revelations that have happened in like literally the last month of manga publication, a theory you say offhand that I'd never heard before then has become mainstream. That's wild. Like if
it wouldn't have even been written yet in that case.
No, stream viewers.
I would have guessed before Oda wrote it.
I really recommend watching the Dressrosa video to notice it because there is a theory, like, to give so much props to Mama Drawk's prediction ability. It was about 5 or 6 weeks after that stream that a reveal happened in the manga that made that become a mainstream theory, which means even Oda's editors, like only Oda's editors and close friends and like the publishing staff would have known that reveal was coming that made this theory become mainstream, because the mangas don't even get drawn until about 4 weeks before they go live. So like almost no one had access to that information, and you came up with that prediction well before anybody. Like, it's crazy. It's actually wild, and I'm so excited because we're about to head into the arc, the last arc, the most recent arc. So you're going to get to see what that is so soon.
Which Dressrosa video is it in?
Dressrosa Part 3.
Okay, I'm gonna watch the whole thing for a third time.
You're gonna watch it you've already watched it twice?
Yeah, because we missed a bunch of my stars for upcoming events.
We're gonna do a stream about all your stars.
And B, and most importantly, when you were like, you made a theory and then you said it, and I didn't really.
I don't think this is enough to spoil you, and we're close enough anyways that I don't care, because I want to hype up your literary sense that you were able to come up with a prediction that I'd never heard before that has become mainstream like 6 weeks after you made it. You were officially making predictions. You had previously made a prediction that was crazy that like was referencing content that was actively coming out, but that could be cheating. There's no world where it's cheating that you, before you're caught up, beat the rest of the community to the punch on a theory. That's just incredible reading skills. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now though, people think all the time that I'm reading ahead. And when I was talking to your sister, she was like, they just don't know you. They don't know how much that would gall and disgust you. Like, that is, no. That would be, for me, like, unforgivably yucky. That's why I always tell you when, like, this comment made me...
I need to refine this statement a little bit, because people are going to hear that and think you're saying that's because I have so much honor and dignity. It's because it's fun, which is why you do try to pressure me to give spoilers, because it would disgust you because you were removing fun from yourself. And pressuring secrets out of me is fun, but reading ahead on a wiki isn't fun. Like I need to make it clear. It's not because you are so virtuous and dignified with your prediction. It's because it's a fun game and you would lose joy if you cheated that way. I agree.
I also do have a high moral code of lies.
Yeah, you wouldn't lie to the fan base.
On the other hand, in this case, I'm just like, no, that's just A, it's inappropriate, and B, I love that we both act like court gestures in here, and I wouldn't want to take that away. Also, that would ruin my skills. Like, I like being able to use media literacy to guess things. Like, that's fun. And just getting them, like, why would I waste a day every weekend doing this? And all the time I do reading in my busy life, like, no, bullshit. I would not do that. If I'm going to be here, I'm going to do it real. That's how it's going to happen.
Who showed up this chapter? Everybody showed up this chapter. This section story goes wild. I don't know what you mean by who, because it's fucking everybody.
When am I going to be caught up now?
When are you going to be caught up? Well, that's actually, I was going to do this at the end of the stream, but let's do
this
now.
This person just said Crazy Mom will be caught up next month. And I'm like, what?
We have 2 choices for when you'll be caught up, okay? Because we can either do the tier list as we normally do next week, because that'll be the end of a saga, and at the end of sagas we do tier lists, or we could wait until you are caught up to do the tier list, because we either get to make a complete up-to-date, this is my current opinions, and I have all the information tier list, and that's the advantage that option gets. But the other way, we could hold off on doing a caught up tier list until the current saga ends. But the problem is, I think the current saga is the last saga of One Piece probably, which means then we wouldn't do another tier list until like literally the end of the series. So I think it might be better to just go into the next saga right away and save the tier list until you're caught up, and then not do another tier list video, broad tier list video, until the series is done and we're doing a big wrap up for One Piece.
Somebody said if I think I figured out what the One Piece is, not to tell them. I think I'm going to have multiple ideas about what the One Piece is, and I think I think that I will always do like a Patreon stream, and if you're interested in hearing it, you can.
Oh, I think we'll just I think it can be available to everybody, but when we do a video about what the One Piece is, but like we'll just title it that so that people can avoid the theory if they don't want it. But look, predictions from someone media literary sense isn't a spoiler, it's just a prediction. And there are, I think right now, in my opinion, there are like 5 theories that I think equally make sense for the One Piece. So I'm excited to see which way you lean. Thank you so much, Taylolith. Tayolith. I said them wrong. I mixed up the
I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't great.
I'm not good at names. We know this. We've
I'll
established
keep you around, but not great.
You know what I love is a Japanese name. You know why? I remember them? No, because I'm not used to dealing with them, but I can pronounce them because Japanese has syllables instead of letters. So everything is made of really simple syllables and everything's easy to pronounce.
I'm ready to get into it because the deer just showed up, and then the squirrels ran across the top of the rocks, and the birds are flying around. So it's like Disney up in his house.
But the problem is, if we do a tier list for this saga, we don't do a tier list at the end. So it is.
I am not doing a tier list for the saga.
Okay, we're gonna read the next arc and then do a tier list with all the info. I think that's the better option, as much as it breaks arc tradition.
I don't care. That's what I want to do. I'll ask Ace. What do you think, Ace? Ace says yes.
In which case, I think you're going to catch up just as the current arc is ending. So we might be holding off on the part 2
is that
of the next
the end
arc video.
then? That's not the end, is it?
Yeah, the current arc, the next arc is the current arc, and it's ending right now. It's in, and I would guess its last 2 chapters, which means.
But it's not the end of One Piece.
No, not the end of One Piece. It's the end of what's currently out. So
because I need you not to scare me like that.
Fair.
I'm so excited that I'm gonna get to be there for One Piece end.
I'm so excited for you to get to this arc so I can explain the moment that made me realize that One Piece is only going to work the way it does a single time, because I think you'll agree with me that it when you get there, but it's impossible to explain without you seeing it.
I'm so stoked. Okay, let's do this shit. Let's go into Shonen.
Do we want to just start with the big guy, with the big thing, the thing that everyone wants us to talk about? Should we just get into
I don't know where I stopped the time before, because, spoiler alert, I went into Patreon and we watched it together.
Yeah, you started last episode with the beginning of Roof Piece.
Racamac. That was fucking wild. I think I cried and I laughed. It was the most fun I had in so arfing long. It was just wild. And I didn't sleep that night. I saw somebody be like, how am I going to sleep now? And I'm like, I'm so tired. And then I got inside of bed and I laid there and I'm like, I'm never going to sleep. Like, I just could not stop grinning. My face hurt the next day from how much I was smiling.
I am so glad that it hit you the way it hit me, because like way back in Alabasta, you talked about how your favorite thing about One Piece at the end was it gave you a feeling of joy you didn't know a story could give you. And like, I have never felt that more strongly than the week that Gear 5 came out. The week that it came out, and everything about it was so exactly perfect and yet entirely unpredictable. I felt a joy that I genuinely did not know a story could still give me as a grown man. It was a joy I have not felt from fiction since I was a child, and it was genuinely an unbelievable high of smiling glee. The people who don't like Gear 5 because it's not cool and badass, I don't understand you as people.
No. I can't. Are there people who don't like that shit?
Lots and lots of people really hate Gear 5 because they're like, it's so silly. It's goofy. Why isn't it cool? Yeah.
Oh my God. You want to know what my biggest fear was? Okay, so after I predicted that Luffy was going to be a sun god, and we were traveling around the world and we're hanging out, and I'm like, all I'm doing is picking up more and more evidence. Like, you can't even imagine. There is a book full of evidence. He laid every hint he could out everywhere from the beginning on. And then I was like, one day I was sitting there and reading it and thinking how funny it was. And then I was like, aw, fuck. Once we have a fucking sun god on our crew, then we're going to have to be all serious and gaudy. And then I was like, aw, sad. And I was actually genuinely concerned that once Luffy was some like big time god, that we all had to be like, oh, we have a god. And then when it happened, I was like, Oda, you freaking genius. You did the exact opposite, and you brought it in so that no matter how serious the plot gets from here on, you made his ultimate effect be being a doofus. That's stunning. So no matter what happens, he says, don't take funny people lightly, don't take goofiness lightly, but don't take life too seriously. There is a balance. And he created permanent balance by having this amazing freaking goofy ass Looney Tunes, eyes popping out of the head, Tom and Jerry bullshit be an ultimate power. And I was so grateful. And I think it's one of the reasons I couldn't stop smiling. And I think his ultimate goal is to make the whole world laugh or make the whole world smile or something now. And I couldn't stop smiling because I was just like, thank you so much for not shitting on everything you've done by turning it into some ridiculous, serious bullshit as it comes up, and instead recognizing why we love Luffy and what it is that you've created.
So I need to go into giving you diamond stars, diamond and gold stars here, out the wazoo, before I can get into an observation, because something you said there made me realize an observation that I had ties perfectly into a theme you wanted to talk about today. And I love this. But first, let's give you a diamond star for predicting the fight. Last episode, you pieced it together with, I will say, minimal help from me, because I gave you the tiniest bits of help that I've been honest about, that I got you to consider Kaido's perspective.
That wasn't help. That was the tiniest, but it did work. It did work.
I want to be honest about it. I want to be honest about what I gave you so people know. I told you, I told you that you should consider Kaido's perspective more, that you were hating him too much to think about what he saw out of it, and that just because someone believes in something doesn't mean they're right. Those are the two things I told you. From that, you were able to predict Kaido wanted to be Joy Boy. There was a prophecy that Joy Boy had to be killed, that Kaido would kill Luffy. Luffy would be the real Joy Boy, awaken as a sun god who was Joy Boy, come back and defeat Kaido. That's a diamond star. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hell yes. Also, gold star for predicting that Luffy would reawaken laughing. That's something you wanted. You added it as a prediction. Gold star for saying Luffy would come back laughing. And obviously, you get the shooting diamond star for predicting that Monkey D. Luffy was a sun god, because that's insane.
I'm so stoked by that one.
Now, I want to get into the observation that I had that ties into yours. It was something that I loved about Gear 5, was throughout
We don't
the
have a
series,
supernova star phantom.
so we have diamond stars were established as a tradition. Here's the thing. When I introduced the concept of a diamond star, this is genuinely what I was thinking of. Because when I said we were going to have diamond stars, you'd already started talking about this, and I was like, that's the diamond star that I know is there. And since then, other diamond stars have happened, right? So
Yeah.
the diamond star.
But we
this is a
also ended
diamond
up
star.
having a diamond shooting star.
We'll do a shooting diamond star for how far back it was.
Yeah.
Mama will get something bigger than the diamond star if she predicts what the One Piece is.
Oh, I get a shooting diamond star for Luffy being a sun god.
Absolutely. Now,
Because
I want to
we're
get into my
making that
observation
right
that
now.
ties into
Oh!
the thematics you want to talk about. My observation of something I love about Gear 5 is early on in One Piece, we see Luffy do dumb shit with his powers. He's a goofy cartoon boy. He does the pinwheel where he sticks his feet in the ground. Doesn't work that well. He drinks a bunch of water to become a water pump. Works kind of. He does all these really dumb, stupid things, and they don't work, and they get people hurt, and he puts people in danger, and he gives up on them bit by bit by bit. He chips away at the silly way he fights to be more and more serious and find better, stronger applications of his devil fruit. Gear 4 feels like the ultimate culmination of Luffy realizing that he has to give up fighting the way he wants in order to protect other people's freedom. That freedom isn't something he just gets, that he earns it by taking on responsibility, by treating things seriously enough that he puts in effort and fights hard like a serious fighter.
Except for he doesn't really say that when he's in the mama time at all.
He doesn't say it, but One Piece doesn't spell things out that often. It's
I mean, it doesn't even
implication.
spell it out that well. You can just start to feel it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You feel Luffy needing to be more and more serious to take on responsibility and protect the freedom of others and protect his own freedom. And what I find great about this power-up is he only unlocks it when he has become such a force for freedom that the world government is willing to sacrifice one of their greatest agents to kill him because he is fighting an oppressor in the name of freedom and represents a true threat. That there are people praying for freedom at a celebration, at a festival, praying to the gods above to be free, and Luffy is killed by the world's greatest oppressor while fighting another oppressor, giving his all in the name of freedom as seriously as he can, putting every bit of grit he has into one last Gear 4th. Gear 4th, to me, representing Luffy giving up on fighting the way he wants to fight effectively. He is killed. And that allows him to access Gear 5th, where he can fight the way he wants to, where he can be the goofy, dumb bastard he was in early One Piece, and it works. He has earned freedom itself. He has become freedom itself by dying for the freedom of others and becoming a threat to the concept of oppression itself. That's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I was going to say it was so beautiful, but it was also like a metaphor that I was saying is literally how I think about getting better at things. Because I watch sometimes as people in here talk about how good your art is, and they wish they could do art, and that's your least favorite thing because you're always like, you can just do it, because you do that to me all the time.
It's the mix of you can just do it, and also I know so many people who are way better than me, especially at my age, that I'm like, look up to someone else.
Yeah, but it's also that you do the thing that I think is really important. You make mistakes, you try new things, you go out there and do it, that you have a style. And it's the same thing in writing. People get a style. Getting a style is hard. Like, learning to do a thing is easy. Learning to copy a thing is easy. Getting your own essence is hard. and you're willing to try a bunch of different styles. But that's the same thing that you're fine, Drawk. That's the same thing that is going on in here. Luffy is a type of person. He has that type of fighting style in behind everything. He has audacity and he brings it into everything that he does, but he has to get more serious, like he's learning the basics. Just like in art, he's learning position and depth and scale and color. And he's having to learn all those things because he can't just come in like a goober and start goobering around. But then he does all those things, and now as a reward, he gets to be himself and utterly strong and powerful.
I haven't thought about it that way. What a metaphor it feels like for learning skills, that like to be in that place where you can be free with something and play and still be good. You need a mastery of the basics. That for Picasso to be Picasso, he first needed to be Da Vinci. Like,
and don't get me wrong, because Picasso sucks and I hate him with my whole heart, but it's true. He couldn't have done that unless he had learned the other things.
Picasso's a shit man.
Human.
You can dislike his abstract art. There is no argument it is not good and that he's not a great artist.
And there's no argument that he didn't invent an entirely new area. And so that's what I like to think about. I often think about how people don't understand that, you can come up with something interesting and new and innovative and true to you, but you don't just go there. First, you frickin' learn to use the scissors, learn to pick up a pencil, learn the basic lines. You master concepts before you can just go full Luffy Gear 5 cartoon bug guy. Like, you gotta do the mastery of the concepts first, and I think that's what we saw. You know what, Drawk? That's not the one I want.
Don't worry, we're fine.
No, it's not the one I want.
I'm fixing scales, and we know someone's gonna delete your art eventually.
Somebody delete his art, please. I want a better one.
I told you my backup idea, so now you want that one?
It's deleted!
Okay. Let me finish these scales and then I'll...
Thank you, Jojo. That's what I'm looking for.
Which is funny, because it was the one you wanted, and then I described a different idea, and you were like, never mind.
Never mind, that one's better, I like it. And then you started with mine, and I was like,
look, this is... I'm gonna be honest, I don't normally cheat where I'm like, I'm coming in with a first idea that's fake, and then the real idea will happen when someone deletes art, but... This is the culmination of a 5-part series of drawings. I'm not risking it. I know what I'm doing.
If anyone hadn't deleted your art, I was about to delete your art. I was like, where are my points? I gotta get my points out.
The culmination for a 5-part piece. I'm gonna cheat
Lucia.
a little bit.
Okay.
What's one of the scales to look even before I move on?
Where did I start? What chapter does Wano start in? I mean, where did I start this week?
Oh God, dude! What a question.
Give Bellamy
a treat.
Is a
blur now.
Where's my Bellamy?
Where's your Bellamy?
Yeah, Ollie.
My boy.
1023. But did I start at 1023 this week? Damn! Look at me rocking it out. That's an F ton of chapters. I had to read some so fast so that I could do our Patreon stream. So I forgot.
You did have to read. So much happens here. Should we quickly talk about all the fights, like the major fights, and what we think they say, what they mean? Just like go through.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I've decided.
Yep.
I'm gonna zoom my way through 123 to.
You better zoom though, because like let's be real, we got a lot to discuss.
I know. I'm just gonna zoom through the fights.
Okay, let's go. Who's up? What's next?
Who's on first?
Yeah, he is.
I have kids who are doing Who's on First for a little production we're doing right now, and I was like, we've modernized it a tiny bit. First of all, we talked about how we have our new Odin standing in front of his dad.
I just realized my joke is even better because Who's is one of the guys. There's a guy named Who's.
Who's?
There's a guy named Who's in this one.
Who's?
Holy shit. Okay, keep going.
standing in front of his dad, and he's like, I'm not gonna go easy on you, you frickin' little shit. If you're gonna stand here and fight in front of me. By the way, I love that wolf. I love Yamato's wolf form.
The Inu something, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. And then he's like, undo my chains. I'm Odin. Kazuki. I am Kazuki Odin. And then you see that he was put into prison. He made friends with people. That his dad tried to kill him time and time and time again. That was rough shit to find out. Like, I knew he was shitty, but to find out just how shitty Kaido was as a dad, that was wow.
Who do you think's worst parent between Kaido and Big Mom?
It's Kaido.
I think what the thing is about Kaido for me is like, even if you could argue that Big Mom's a worse parent, you could at least give the excuse of it's a lot harder to parent 90 children than it is one child.
Happy Father's Day, I guess somebody said.
Hey,
yeah, but not only that, but Big Mom being ignored is one thing. Being ignored and used at least makes you feel like your parent sees you and sees your strengths. I mean, she does things like, Charlotte, you suck and suck less, and that's not very nice. But and she does steal some of her children's soul, which, Jesus God, I can't believe I'm saying these things about human beings and their children, but whatever. Soul stealing there. But Kaido not only beats the crap out of his son, sticks him in prison with terrible people and is like, they ought to kill you. That should be good. And I won't have to worry about you. And so I just think that Kaido also just ignores everything about who he is, except for then again, he doesn't misgender him. So
Kaido might say child abuse is on the table, but he also says trans rights.
Like, what? Yeah, I have my lines, bitch.
Granted, there is also the argument that Kaido is incentivized to say trans rights on account of easier to make your son the shogun than your daughter.
Yeah, and also, like, he just would prefer to have had a son because he doesn't like women as much.
It could be.
Right? But like, still...
Okay, can we be real? Like,
okay,
before trans people became the talking point of the alt-right, the I'm gonna treat my daughter like a son was a conservative archetype.
It really was.
I'm gonna trans my daughter, that was an archetype for conservative people. It was only in like it was only in that becoming a culture war talking point that changed.
Yeah, because I used to be like, I'm gonna teach my daughter to fix cars and blah 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 and go hunting with me because I wanted a son and I'm getting a son.
Like, isn't that weird to think about that one's just apparently done a 180? All right.
Yeah. So I guess he's just from that kind of idea. I don't know what to say. Okay, so we got that. Then we have my small little egotistical boy, Momo, give up 20 years of his life. And that's kind of a big thing. I don't know if you know this. That really broke my heart. It's not getting to go through, especially since I teach kids and I've seen 20-year-olds are still so young. I'm not saying that they're not becoming adults and
I'm gonna be real. Big difference between 20 and 28.
Yeah, but 20-year-olds are still so young, and that's 12 years older than him. And he didn't even get to have all that growth and all that change. So I am kind of worried about him in the future. But I think I did guess that he would age up.
You didn't guess. We gave you a star for that already because you didn't guess that he'd age up in the story, but you did make a prediction that one day we'd see adult Momo Dragon, which we did, just a lot sooner than you thought.
Makes me sad because I really hope people work on him as a human being because he could go in some really bad directions. having to be an adult body. I speak as a person who's been 6'2" since they were 13 years old.
Why is it that the women in our family age so fast and the men are like, you're 19, it's time to be your full height?
I don't know what to tell you. We don't age fast, we grow fast.
True.
We age slow as ass.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that apparently that's why the adult acne is a thing? Is if you have oily skin, you get more adult acne, but you age slower?
Mine is, I just honestly think the Ellerts.
Could be.
I have the stretchiest skin in the history of ever. And in the hospital, I had 3 different nurses and doctors, healthcare professionals ask if I was your sister's sister. And I was like, no, baby, I'm the grandma. Get the hell out of my way. I want to see these kids. So when I was looking at it, I was so crushed for this little dude because my heart is broken, but I also worry about his future, about what is he going to look like when he is, as a person internally. How is it going to mess with him? What kind of trauma is it going to do? Like, I'm happy for him on one hand that he gets to be in the same contextual era as his sister now, because that was kind of weird, right? Like, all of a sudden, your sis, what are you doing? That comes back, right?
Yeah, I'm making it easier to draw. Yeah, I love how you see the white and you're like,
like, wait a minute, what the shit is up here? Okay, we're good. Nothing happened, Ace. And then, so that's good, but what a sacrifice. That's a way, way bigger sacrifice than I think that this story gives us. And then Luffy does the thing that Luffy always does and screams at him. Just get moving, you dumb idiot. Silence! Hold your tongue! A warrior fears nothing! Oh, you're still afraid, aren't you? You're afraid of heights now! And I love that Luffy big brothers him all the time and is like, move your ass, dumbass.
I think Luffy's motivation for Momo of bite him. What the fuck? Why? Bite him. Bites him. There, you just bit an emperor. What scares you now? That's so
exactly.
Good. That's so good.
Exactly. Because it was just like, up until that moment, you went way ahead, but I'll allow it. Up until that moment, Momo just had
Momo, so I think
all these different fears inside of him and all of these insecurities. And Luffy could have done anything he wanted to, but instead he was just like, bite the most powerful emperor of the sea. There, you bit right through him and took a chunk out of him. What do you have to fear? What are you going to do that's harder than that? And then Momo's like, okay. And then Momo ends up doing something that is more difficult.
What you said.
There seems to be some logic. Somebody had an interesting idea of them being twin dragons, so it would be the yin and the yang, and that Momo's pink dragon would have been born out of the DNA of Kaido's dragon, out of the DNA of that devil fruit, which is an interesting thing. We don't have enough evidence there yet, but like kind of an interesting idea. And there's so many similarities.
Cool, and if it fits, is great. And I think even if it isn't true, feels symbolically true. But the main evidence they provided was that one works better than other artificial Zoans. But I feel like I can chalk that up to Dr. Vegapunk build it, and Caesar's a shitty scientist in comparison.
Yeah, it could be. Anyways,
don't
talk about caribou, please. We don't talk about wet reindeer. Red Potato, especially since he knows where the goddamn weaponry is now. Freaking wet reindeer, muddy, gross.
What's he gonna do with that?
I adored the whole thing when Momonosuke talked about what his name is and got all important, and I'm a big deal. And I loved everybody putting things into the air as Luffy is going off in his great big fight. Everyone's putting things into the air. I'd like to drink clean water. That would be nice.
Oh God, the prayer is coming up. Oh, can I just say, this is me doing the thing that a lot of people do where they need to point out, hey, if you've just started reading weekly, the way you build expectations isn't the way you did when you were reading before. Because this was so long, Wano was a pile of people's first arc, especially because One Piece really popped off in the pandemic in the English-speaking world. A lot of people felt like the final confrontation in this arc wasn't climactic enough, and I think that's mental sickness.
That is mental sickness. My God.
I'm just throwing that out there and we can move on.
two dragons face to face. They do look very yin and yang with the dark and the light and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have two dragons, not just my grandchildren. I have two dragons on my desk. They hang out with Ace and Luffy. Oh my god. Did I mention that I'm going to be able to go on websites soon that has the One Piece gear?
What? Oh. Say it again?
I've never been able to go on a website that sells like One
That's
Piece
true.
shit.
You get to buy merch.
I haven't ever been able to just look at merch. Kind of weird, actually. Yeah.
We're zooming in today because this is a big 5-part collage and we have to do a lot of rendering. So just bear with me. Today's the day where we zoom in and shit. That's how it be.
I'm just gonna.
Normally,
I'm
I
just
keep the
so
screen static
excited.
and we cannot.
Like
today.
I watched somebody on here. Was it Dark? Who's in Japan right now, and they are like buying all this fun One Piece shit, and I was like, oh my god, my precious, soon I'll be able to see you on the line.
Are you gonna buy like a high quality Gear 5 resin figure?
God, I don't know.
By the way, next Patreon stream we do, we got a gift in that is going to make you very happy. I'm checking them.
Did you already open it?
I'm checking them ahead of time now because someone pointed out that people will often send stuff with trackers if you do live openings. So gifts are unfortunately only a surprise for you from now on.
Okay. People send trackers? Why would people do that?
It's a thing people do. So I am going to check stuff at the post office from now on.
That's so sad. I'm so sad about people being suck. Squishies, you're not sad, sucky people, but
no, it's a thing you do to be safe. But so
pretending to
far,
be one
every
of
gift
you.
someone sent has been incredible.
People suck sometimes.
Honestly, the most recent letter we got was so nice that I'm thinking of editing it on its own and making it public before the stream goes up.
To be so weird. Anyways, bite him. There, that's all I had. I just had to get that out first. There isn't a single left in this world for you to be scared of. You're a great big brother, Luffy. I know that you forced your big brothers to be big brothers and then taught them how to big brother. But then when you became a big brother, you took the best of them and yourself.
Aw, that's a very sweet compliment to Luffy.
You did buy the copper shirt. Nice job, Dark Lord. I was hoping you would. Why am I saying shut up? It's as bad as moment, maybe worse. I never say I'm moving forward. The reason I'm saying is I'm trying to move forward at breakneck speed. So what you're not seeing me do is just like whoosh, 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 through all of the different pages so that we don't have to look at them. I love her right. I just love our rabbit. Can I go to the end and just say, if you're going to choose someone to be the king of Zoe, I'm glad it's our rabbit bunny.
I know you're glad, but I do want to say she has shown no leadership ability and they are just doing it because Pedro inspired her.
Listen to me right now when I tell you this. It's a wild choice.
Yes.
I agree. There's no evidence to support that she will do an excellent job, but the people that they need have to be in other places. I love that our boy learned how to use his dumb clouds and hold all of the island up for them. But I just want to move through. Fight with Mama being dunked down through the earth with Law and with Kid. I just felt so glad that this was happening because for me, Kid was one of those ones where I could see that a bunch of different choices and things that had happened to him along the way have made him be this person who's just this hard ass shell. Like every single person who goes through trauma finds a different way to rectify their living life with their trauma. And his living life seems to just be strongly broken and armored. And then Law and his trauma, he just has this cool appearance he needs to put above him and just become this like, I'm Law and I'm super cool and I can do all these cool things. And has all this defense around him, and he needs people to see him as being cool. Like, I'm not just making that up.
He cares about image a lot.
He cares about image a ton. He cares about being as cool as he is. He would want me to say that he was cool. And if he does a move after, or if Luffy says, put these people downstairs, he's like, I was doing that anyways, and now you made it look like I was following you. So he cares. And so having to work together in this fight to take down Mama was such a good idea, because you had two people, one who needs to be seen as ultimately strong and hard ass, and one who needs to be seen as too cool for school. And instead, the two of them had to work together. Did they still have all these problems? Yeah, but that's what was going to make this fight good. And the ways in which they took Mama down, and they're going right through her body and killing her from the inside, was delicious.
I also, I love this fight so much, and I don't see people hype it up because, like, maybe it's because I'm a writer, but from a writing perspective, I think it's wildly impressive. Because more so than any fight in the series, I think every single character in this fight comes out looking better.
I would agree.
It feels like it hypes up more than any fight I can think of. Every single combatant, all three of them, come out looking so much stronger and cooler for it. And I also love that it feels like Law's fruit has endless utility, Kid's fruit has endless raw power, and of course you need someone, if you're fighting a devil fruit master on the magnitude of Big Mom, who has power and utility for days, of course you need both of those things.
Yeah, also because Big Mom can fight, you got quiet by the way. Also because Big Mom can fight on so many fronts, because she has Prometheus and Zeus, or not Zeus anymore. Who does she have? What's that little thing's name?
Hera.
I don't care. I don't like her. It doesn't matter. I don't have to see her anymore. Because she has Hera and Prometheus, and she fights on so many fronts, but more importantly, because she can steal the life of the people around her, and you needed both ingenuity and brute force in order to beat her. That's just a given. And so when you get something as innovative as the way that he was taking her down from the inside, and the way that he cut her apart and tore her up, and then that doesn't finish it. Why? Because it won't. You need then Kid to push her through. And I actually don't feel like either of them did more in that fight than the other. I know that there would be a tendency to say either Kid's force or Law's ingenuity was the thing that did it. And I would just say, like, neither of them would have won without the other, period.
Yeah. There is no world where Trafalgar Law soloed Big Mom here. That was not happening in the slightest.
Yeah, no, that was never going to happen. And I would say that Luffy did not beat Kaido on his own, because everybody took a piece of Kaido down from every single direction. It was just that the one-on-one fight at the end was 1v1, but it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was like 18 against 1 in the end.
I can't get over people commenting he didn't live up to the hype. If it's 1v1, always bet on Kaido. Motherfucker, this is 1 on 14. When it's 1 on 14,
like, you have all the red scabbards. You have his son, all the red scabbards. You have Momo taking an actual freaking bite out of him. You have the Zoro. You have Law. You have you have so many. And then after all that, then you have Luffy be like, okay, I figured some shit out. We can leave me up here for the 1v1. And by 1v1, I mean us 18.
I've had 3 power-ups unlocked over the last month, most of which during this fight. I think I'm finally ready.
It's so ridiculous to think. And then the fight between King and Zoro was insane.
The animation of it, right? The anime?
Oh my god, the animation was actually even better than the manga, and I don't say that often.
No, it was fucking wild. It was so crazy.
That fight was delightful, and it turns out the King is hotter than you could have hoped. But when King's mask came off, I was a bit surprised, because part of me actually had kind of a backstory for him all put out that, he'd been a prisoner somewhere and his face got melty or something. And then when his thing came off, and I was like, oh no, he's hot.
No, he's
Oh,
gonna have
okay.
anyone see how beautiful he is. It's like Queen. You know how Queen says he can't lose weight because he'd be too popular? King's the same way. He's like, look, I make fun of you, man, but I can't take off the mask or I'm gonna have the exact same problem. So I understand.
Yeah, I just think that getting to see his face, I was like, that's distracting. You should keep your mask off.
It's
Distract the masses.
I'm gonna be honest, Queen, you're wrong. I've seen what you look like after getting the big suck, and you actually don't look. I think you look better, bigger. I think you pull it off better, Queen.
If I'm gonna be honest, I don't like a skinny queen idea.
No, skinny Queen after getting the slurp, I don't think is looking his best actually.
No, I think just a round queen is a hotter look.
Yeah, it suits him better.
I also despise CP0 with a burning hot cloud of rage and fire. And I knew I would hate them, and I knew they couldn't be CP10 because that's sleepy time. And I knew they had to be CP0, which is terrifying sounding, and they live up to it. And they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Ball sacks. They're ball sacks, and I hate them. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about that.
Don't hold back.
Oh, in that case, I can go on? Okay, well, I think they're cowards who hide in a side room and wait to take the biggest advantage of people who are in other fights because they can't actually do anything on their own other than use the advantage of other people's efforts.
I mean,
and it's embarrassing.
They are assassins, so it does make sense that they wait for openings.
You're engaged in a fight as Luffy with Kaido, and then some little weasel bucket comes up behind you and kills you. Like, I understand your job is to assassinate, but I'm okay with the sneak attack. I'm not okay with the sneak attack while somebody else is fighting you. I just think that's so, like, have any amount of what?
So no, you finish that, and then I'll add in my thought.
I just think have any amount of pride or I don't know. You want to know why? You're not as scary if you have to fight with somebody and kill someone in the back, and you don't have the power or the audacity to face someone's front or to poison them in a special way. You got to wait until they're fighting somebody else. Like, just think about the law of the street. Can you imagine if two people were having a fight and another person just jumped in and started pummeling on someone's back or knifed him? People would be like, what a coward. So even if you're an assassin, it just feels so, ew. It's so dirty.
I just want to say that while I fully agree with you, I genuinely respect Guernica. That's his name, by the way. Just at the end of that, after he does the shitty thing, Kaido's like, so you know what's next? And Guernica just tips his hat like, my man, I know there's no world where I escape after what I've done. Let's just make it quick.
It's not even pride, dude. Twisted, it's not pride.
It doesn't feel like pride, but it does feel more admirable than if he was like cowering, like, oh, please don't kill me. Like, I do respect that he was just like, I know what's about to happen.
Mikado? Why are we talking about Gilbert and Sullivan here, Ollie? Kind of weird.
I also want to say, if we're talking about CP0, so many people die this arc. Izo going down to take one of them out to save Robin, tragic.
Yeah. As soon as they were like, yes, have some honor, Nixon. As soon as they were, especially like in you know why it was such a juxtaposition, milady, Mikado? It was such a juxtaposition because you're in Wano, where having some pride in your work and doing things in a way that is like respectful is kind of important because it's got this Japanese honor system attached to it, right? Ooh, look at all those. Nice work, Raviolis.
That is an assembly of emotes.
That is beautiful. And instead, you've got a juxtaposition of this person who's like, don't mind if I sneak up behind your back and stab you. And then I'm like, you know what? You're also talking about killing Robin, so I hope you get commurtulated. And commurtulated means murtulated by many people, but instead it was Kaido murtulated, so it worked out.
Yeah.
Just a minute. I don't know what your father wants, but it's Father's Day, so I have to press the pause.
You do.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'll just say, yeah, he got the big smush.
What do you want?
Granica met a potato masher that day.
Delivery of the salmon and everything with Ash. I need to know if I need to head down in my own car with you. What time is today's show ending?
What time is today's show ending?
Usually 4:30 if we keep on track. Which this is the episode
latest.
everyone's been waiting for, so you know we'll try.
What, to be?
Oh, we have something to read. I said we'd read it right away because it's our Patreon speech from last week. Do you want to read that quick?
Yes.
It's a bit of a detour,
Everyone
but this is the last episode.
Happy Father's Day, Father Drawk. Hi, Papa Drawk.
We're gonna have to edit this into the last video because I want it to go up in that video.
Everyone says it.
I sent it to you on Discord a while ago. It's like 3 messages back.
Oh, you sent it to me?
Yeah. Yeah, you wanted to
Are
read
you
them when you
asking me
could.
to read it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm asking you to read it. So this is from last episode from one of our crew at the Patreon level, and we forgot to do it last time.
I was ignoring you. Hey, I was ignoring you. When did you send it to me?
It's like 2 messages up, 3 messages up.
First, I'd like to mention.
Yep, that's the one.
First, I'd like to mention the moment where Sanji calls for Robin is such a great moment for both characters. Sanji, who has been so willing to sacrifice himself for others, finally asks for help. And it shows a lot of growth for him. Just a minute. Just a minute. Your father is being extra today.
I mean, if there was a day.
If there was a day, finally asked for help, and it shows a lot of growth for him while acting as a great gag. I loved that part. On the other side, Robin hasn't gotten much of a spotlight post-time skip, and giving her the chance to save someone on the crew is a great piece of role reversal by Oda. Second, this is one of my few complaints about Wano. But did Shinobu really have to age Momo up to 28? Yeah. If the goal is flying Luffy back up to Onigashima, it could have just aged him up incrementally. I get the idea that Momo represents kids that have grown up too quickly due to great responsibility at an early age. Making that literally isn't a bad idea, but 20 years is a lot, dude. I agree. 13 might have been enough for the job. But now we'll never know. And my son has lost 20 years of his life. Thank you, Shinobu. Crew read along when you want to. I love that. Is it these 2 paragraphs? I agree with them because I was sitting there and thinking, like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I understand that there's also this theoretical idea that you're moving up to be the same age as they would have been.
Yeah.
But I was just like, are you shitting a burger right now? You're going to take this poor boy and take 20 years of his life, even like after everything that he's had to go through. If he had been 18, he would have been an adult, able to be a full-size dragon, and would have had.
He'd be a full-size dragon about at 16. Like,
yeah, exactly. There was no reason for that. Thank you, Karakuzos. I was so pissy.
It's a difficult bit because I love it as a writing decision because the thematics are brilliant. The idea that he got to skip out on 20 years of his country suffering, so there is a cost to the responsibility that is being placed on him as to be shogun, that he needs to pay for the power and position he's given by the station of birth. I think it works really well. That all being said, logically as a decision, Shinobu, you should have heard him say that and gone, very well, Lord Momonosuke, and then aged him up to 18. He wouldn't have known the difference.
Because I understand that he was supposed to be 28, but he wasn't 28. He was 8. If you move an 8-year-old into 28, now they're 8 years old in a gross-ass 28-year-old body. At least give him the decency of making him 18 so he has like 10 more years until he should be a proper adult and he will have aged up well. Like, ugh. He's worse than a preemie now. Ugh.
If I were Shinobu, I definitely would have been like, very well, Lord Momonosuke, just lied. Just been like, yeah, you're 28.
Don't feel bad, Nixon. Your body is perfectly normal to adults, but imagine being 8 years old and suddenly looking at your gross-ass 28-year-old body. Like, this is not me! Holy God! Like, the first time that he washes himself and he's like, why do I smell so bad? And you're like, oh yeah, you're a full big adult now. Sorry, Momo. enjoy that. The first time a woman hits on him, like
Oh, yeah, he's so handsome. He's going to be a child being hit on by adult women.
like adult women who don't understand that he is a baby. And so now, by the time he's matured enough that that's appropriate, he'll be 38. Like it was just, they did him dirty. He should have been 18. Yeah, and his body is older than Luffy now. Oh, God. He's so damaged. Just make him, it's big. Paladin Berserker, it's big. It's so wrong. I'm so sad about it. I'm moving on. I'm so sad about it. Okay. Queen, the fight with Sanji was so epic. Including in the anime. I thought this fight was almost my very favorite. It was so good. If
it wasn't for how well animated Zoro's was, it would be such a standout.
I would agree.
It's hard to beat that king fight.
And still, I would say, like, I wouldn't say that the king fight was harder. I would say that Sanji super proves himself here. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a take I have. I don't think the power gap between Sanji and Zoro has ever been more narrow.
Yeah.
Like with the fucking exoskeleton boost he's getting and Zoro unlocking Conqueror's coding that kills him, I don't think they have ever been closer in terms of fighting ability.
Well, think how Sanji literally had every bone in his body break. Like he was just mush bone. And then he stood up. And then Chopper is like, Sanji, you're freaky. Did you get turned into a zombie? Every bone in your body is broken. And he's just like, just give me a minute. I need to... Everything's good now. We're good. We're good here.
I must have been fine, actually. It's such a trope. Yeah. Oh, you go first. In
case I haven't said this recently, you have phenomenal design skills.
Oh, what makes you say this?
This was a great idea. This was a great idea.
Yeah. Something I've talked about, I think, before on stream, and since you brought this up, I'm just going to say this quick. I think natural aptitude is definitely real, and it's not measured if you're doing visual arts where there's all these different aspects to art. Natural aptitude isn't measured in how good you are, because someone can be better than someone with far less natural aptitude. It's how easily you learn it. For me, I don't have natural aptitude in many parts of art, but composition I do. And the reason I say that is very specific. It's two things. I am better at composition than some of my friends who have done a lot of study on it, and I have done no study on composition ever at any point in my life. Not even once. It's just something I've passively kind of picked up. And I find whatever you have natural aptitude for, you will passively pick up while working on other things. And the other reason for this is I can't teach composition. And I find there is no worse teacher for something than someone with natural aptitude for it, because they don't actually understand it. They just do it. It's why when I really struggled to draw faces, and I mentioned that I used to be somewhat face blind, and it was only through years and years and years of most of my art practice being faces that I fixed my face blindness by building up the part of my brain that recognizes faces. I could never get good advice from someone who had natural aptitude for drawing faces. I had to find other people who really struggled to give me tips on how to learn, which I find interesting. I think it's fun that if someone has aptitude at something,
that's also like math.
They can't teach you.
I'm an amazing teacher of math because I had bad teachers of math. And then eventually I had to work my ass off to become good at math. So when I teach it, I'm very good at breaking it down. But then like singing, I can't teach singing. I don't know, just sing, do it.
Mm-hmm. You can say math is awesome all you want, but I'm going to think you're a liar now. I know when people
think you're a liar is the most ridiculous.
When people who are into math describe it, it seems like such a beautiful thing, and then I look at how math works and I go,
yeah, your chin and mouth are being cut off. Are you okay with that?
The little seal that holds my webcam in place is being a bit of a brat.
You know what you need?
No.
A new seal. I think that would be obvious. Or a ball. They're right. Wilson could do it. Okay, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna fight. I'm Sanji. I do the fights and the fights and the fights. The end, I win.
This is a good fight about confronting his family. We pointed out on stream
There's also
that
a
his
good
eyebrow.
fight about confronting his perv.
Yeah. We talked about on stream with you that people observed that his eyebrow swirl changed to be the same direction as his family when his powers activated. I also love him being afraid of losing himself and telling Zoro that if he isn't himself anymore, Zoro needs to kill him. And Zoro's like, I get to kill you? Sick.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, bud. Enjoy your fight.
Yeah, I agree. It was a little too easy, and then later on they do something. Your sister was just sending me something. That's why I got all quiet.
It is Father's Day.
I was looking at Psycho Killer. Qu'est-ce que
Qu'est-ce que
c'est?
c'est?
Because I loved his fight where he was like, he said, if you take damage without a proper conduit, where does that damage go? What do you mean? You should know how my power works by now. All of the damage I take goes straight to Kid as long as I hold his straw doll within my body. Oh, perfect. Slice. Cuts off his arm. My arm. You cut your arm. Kid has no left arm.
Motherfucker, you should have put that doll any other body part.
So good, baby.
Hawkins in that moment, kind of sucks to suck is honestly what happens.
Yeah, like maybe you should have sucked half as much as you just sucked is all I'm saying. And I was sad because I wanted Hawkins to be the not suck because you know that I secretly love Hawkins weirdly for no reason.
He ends up fully sucking here because I think there's some level of dignity in him being the opposite of Scratchman Apu, where it turns out he knew he wasn't going to make it through this almost certainly, but he was like, you know what?
He did.
I made my bed. I should sleep in it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he only had a 1% chance of survival. So he really believes in his ability to tell the future. So he was playing, as they say, balls out.
He was like, you know what? I switched sides because the card said I couldn't win. And then all of this was building up. And then the card said that Kaido was going to lose. I took that bet that I needed to side with Kaido, and you were brave enough not to, and it worked out for you, so fucking you win, kid. Meanwhile, Scratchman Apu was like, oh, it looks like we're losing. I'm not with him, so we're cool, right? It
was ridiculous. I was not proud for him.
But I also love he makes it out alive because people are like, well, I'm not gonna in the middle of a war fight this other guy for no reason. So
yeah, exactly. Was it a thing? Yes. Was it an option? For sure. But again, I mean, I guess you have to have a balance between bravery and cowardice. Kinemon being all like, I'm the worst and I will commit seppuku. And then Usopp being like, could you suck less? We're very busy people. You trying to kill yourself is embarrassing.
Stop trying to die, you fucking bitch.
Stop. He's just so embarrassed for him. And when Usopp is embarrassed for you, you gotta feel bad.
I love Usopp being like, yeah, I'm a coward. I'll cry and shit my pants and run away. You know why? Because I want to live, you dumb asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And Usopp, like, I asked for funny things from this, and Usopp has great statements such as the following. I'm going to die of fear before the enemy even gets to me. So, like, he has the fear down pat. And yet he's saying to this person, like, do what you need to do. Quit being like, oh, all that matters is honor. And so I need to kill myself. Meanwhile, Usopp is, I'm the great Captain Usopp. Wait, don't run away. I was bluffing.
Okay, someone is pointing out that Apu had no reason to antagonize CP0, and yet he did. I think that's 100% true, but I think it's because he knew they had more important things to worry about, and he was like, I can get away with this, why not?
Yeah, he was, but I'm just so embarrassed for him.
I love
embarrassed
being
for him.
Shit.
So I loved when Usopp called Kinemon out and was like, you know what's embarrassing? You. Move forward.
Stop trying to die.
Kazembo going down into the bottom, the big monster. Don't touch it or you catch fire. A fire Are you shitting me? When I saw the fire monster thing, I was like, we've got enough. Hey,
there's
Odin
enough happening.
Oda, write less. This is too many things. We have enough fronts now. We're falling out of the sky. We have like 5 giant fights happening at the same time. We have a dude
So-
who's sitting there and feeling guilty, who's trying to commit suicide.
From what
Like,
I
we're good.
understand, from what I understand, it's meant to be all of that stuff is meant to be a reference to like kabuki actors hamming up their death, which is why the joke is Kanjuro keeps giving himself extra death scenes by faking his death, and through
And I would
Kuzenbo, he gets
agree.
to have a death scene after he's already died.
Yeah, I would agree, because I was like, you had your death scene, and I remembered reading in one of my things about it that they're like, and then the kabuki actor dies again. And so I was like, yeah, that's funny, but on the other hand, he's an actual threat for the entire island, and we're burning everyone up. So I was like, this dude again? I fucking hate him.
Hey, good
This
news
dude.
about your hatred of Kanjuro. We're in the era of One Piece where people die now, and he's not alive.
Yay!
It's crazy
Burning away
when
my
you think
patience
about-
is the perfect thing, Jelly Gremlin.
When you think about how all the other arcs, isn't it crazy to think that you can list off like Yasui, dead, Basil Hawkins, dead, what's his name? Big Hydra Man, Shogun, who cares? He's dead.
Dead.
Kanjuro, dead as fuck. Ashura Doji, dead. Izo, dead.
And someday it may happen that a victim must be found. We've got a little list. They all
Let-
are
Let's
dead.
be frank. Kaido and Big Mom probably alive because of that explosion at the end knocking them out. It's not confirmed they're alive, though.
No, Luffy, I'm not quite dead yet. Alright.
Are we sure Hawkins died? No, but it feels like he
No,
did.
but maybe dead.
Yeah.
Dead adjacent.
We told our man Drake that he was dying and should die, so we'll see.
The fight between I keep fast forwarding, and the fight
No, yeah,
between
do it.
King, Queen, and Zoro and Sanji. They always try to make Sanji second fiddle in these fights. They're like, we'll give him Queen, and I'm like, I understand why you gave King to Zoro, but on the other hand, just like, why? That's why I think it's funny that he keeps giving him the bigger reward bounty.
I think it lines up well enough here because of the history Queen has with honestly, I think Oda did a great job at making both the fights feel very personal, in that King's relationship with Kaido was meant to mirror Luffy and Zoro, and Queen obviously is connected to the Vinsmoke family.
Yeah, I agree. Kamirasaki.
And her little instrument hanging out.
Kamirasaki. What are you going to do, Kamirasaki? Oh, I'm going to myrtlate this piece of shit. You know what, Kamirasaki? I'm here for it. Because that
I'm
little
gonna tell
piece
him
of
I
shit.
don't like him. He's ugly and he killed my dad.
I'm going to tell him that all this time when he thought he was hot and he kept coming in and making everyone pay attention to him, everybody knew that he was not.
Damn.
Oh, are you the Shogun? Are you hot? Ha ha ha. No. You are ugly. You are an ugly boy. No one likes you.
Damn,
And
get
it doesn't
owned,
matter
my
how
guy.
many heads you have, none of those heads are worth kissing. The end.
Yeah.
I could say meaner
Sometimes-
things.
Sometimes you say things and it derails me. Someone was also talking about how if we try to talk about Berserk next, it's so fucked up that we'll constantly violate TOS. So we are going to need to develop, if we do read Berserk, a lexicon of Twitch-safe way of talking about it.
I'll tell you how right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to say shit.
That will get us banned. This is a source of income for me now.
I just said say shit. I'm not going to say the words.
Okay, you'll just say shit, not the words, but you're just going to make up in the moment what the way of approaching it is.
I'm scared of going into Berserker. Let's not talk about that right
It's
now.
fucked up. It's someone showed me a picture. You're not gonna have a good time all the time with it.
Oh, I'm very scared.
Valid.
Wow, thanks for that. I love King's heels.
King's whole outfit is weirdly good for just being a gimp outfit.
You know what I don't like about him?
What?
When he turns into a pterodactyl with his mask off, that's less sexy.
You know what I don't like
It
about him?
just looks like a bald, bone-headed, bald pterodactyl. It looks like a pterodactyl who has alopecia.
You know what I don't like about him?
What do you not like about him?
Racial supremacy. Being part of
Okay.
an oppressed group doesn't give you the right to be a racial supremacist.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, there we go,
That should
King.
be-
Learn a lesson, motherfucker.
Whoa, you took that far, man.
Yeah, look, I don't like racial supremacy.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
Motherfucker
know
coming
who's-
up to Zoro and
you
saying,
know
you
who
are
could feel
biologically
supreme?
incapable of defeating me.
You know who could feel supreme about racial supremacy?
Who's that?
Supremacy?
Who's that?
No one.
No. I was gonna say gods, but it seems like the Lunarians literally considered themselves gods. So, like, actually, let's not give that opening.
Give Bellamy a treat!
Give Bellamy a treat. Today he gets mangoes because I forgot to grab dog treats. He
Does
loves
he like
mangoes.
mangoes?
Dried mangoes.
I am glad that Chuji is alive. When that rat mouse thing was gonna die, my heart was broken. And
He's a
I'm
strong
glad
boy.
And I'm glad they chose to do that because I don't think a lot of people, like everybody knows that's something that Sanji did when he was young, that he fed the rats and that when no one else loved him, he had his little rat friends. But I think that the reason that I pet the boy, the reason that I liked it so much is because Sanji was healing his childhood trauma in this arc. He was getting to have the strength that his family forced him to have while reconciling that he had his own will and that he could use his will in the way that he wanted to. And being able to save that rat also allowed him to save the rats of his childhood, to feel that he was still the person that would be gentle with all living creatures and see everything as deserving of life and protection.
I put together that it was symbolic of the rats in his childhood, but bringing up how important it is that he saved Chuji and not just the girl is that I didn't think about that. That's really beautiful.
You have to pet the boy, by the way. Well, we can't see it though.
Okay. Bellamy, come up here. Yeah, my boy. He's like, do I get more mango? I don't like being up here.
Sugar boy, we can barely. You know why we can barely see him? It's because we can see so much.
I keep trying to angle it down and it keeps sliding back up.
You know what you need?
What?
Better silicone.
So
I ate the obvious fruit today. And I'm here for it. Anyways, so at the same time that it was he was fixing his ability to have strength and humanity, part of that humanity came from his saving a Chuji.
I like that. Can I respond to a thing that chat has brought up?
Only if it's a good thing.
It is a slight detour, but it is a good thing. It is last time I said, once we knew all of King's powers, I would say why people should end with the Katakuri versus King debate, because Katakuri obviously wins. It's simple. It's simple, guys. Okay? One Piece is a lot of time about how powers match up. King, great, strong dude. I'm not actually going to say he's weaker than Katakuri, because I genuinely think they're about even. But when you get into like what they do, King's biggest weakness, more than anything, is patience. If someone can wait for an opening, they have a better chance because he's only vulnerable when he goes into his high speed mode, and Katakuri both has better mental endurance and would outlast the fight and could use observation, future sight, to wait for an opening and attack him while he's in his super speed, because that's not an issue for Katakuri. Hitting someone while they're moving fast is nowhere near an issue. So while I think the fire attacks having such a large area of effect and being able to burn the mochi probably would hurt him, I genuinely think that Katakuri has every tool he needs to beat King. And King just doesn't have that much that exploits Katakuri's, because like both of them need to be beaten by patience. King ran out of patience and started going for the kill much, much faster than Katakuri did. So I think that because both of them need to basically give their opponents an opportunity to hit them, the guy who showed a much better sense of when to let his guard down and was able to hold his guard for longer definitely has the edge, and I think his powers just line up better because he can dodge really well with his mochi and he can future sight attacks to find an opening. So it's literally just that simple. I don't think there's that much of an argument that King has a good chance, even though I think they're comparably strong.
I'm not getting that.
Yeah, that's all. Look, I said I would do it last time, so people asked for it.
No, I liked it. I'm just not getting into it.
Fair.
I like that we get a little bit into the backstory of the, and I agree, because I think that's something that you need to put a pin in, because we need to come back to that, because that's definitely our second time around. We will pull things out like that.
Uh-huh.
So don't leave it. Like, put a
Okay.
pin in it for real. I'll forget.
Pin.
I like that we had King give the prediction of Kaido having to be Joy Boy because nobody was going to come along and kill him, and that in order for that to happen, that he would have had to have died. But I also like that in both fights we got to see in the Zoro fight, the thing that I think gave it the most impact was seeing King travel back through his memory through all of the things that attached him to Kaido and the strength of their friendship, because you have to admit there's a great strength of friendship in there.
Oh, absolutely.
And the loyalty, and then you're like, oh, I almost feel bad for him, and then all of a sudden it pivots and Zoro was remembering laying on the ground bleeding and saying, I won't lose any fights I start again. And so it's really incredible, because I think it shows why it is that Zoro was going to win that fight in that moment, is that they showed us, just like in the thing that we were talking about earlier, and that that secretly Oda has made a backbone of Wano, is that we saw that Zoro had lost and then had to make the choice to win again, whereas we see that King, just once he came into his strength, that's just who he is, and he never lost. So he doesn't know what it feels like to have to size up an opponent in such a different way, which we see Zoro do. What is he? This and this happens. When the fire burns on his back, this happens. Whereas King just fights and just assumes that the supremacy of his strength and talent will move him through. And instead, because Zoro has lost before, the entire time he's sizing up and reevaluating his opponent. And for that reason, we can see why it is that Zoro is going to win. And we also get to see the relationship between Luffy and Zoro in that moment too, and be reminded, no, we're on Zoro's side. Sorry, fuck yourself, King.
Something else that you bring up that I find very interesting. This made me think of something. In what you brought up is what you said there makes me realize that I think King was, throughout the two flashbacks we see, losing faith in Joy Boy existing, because he couldn't rationalize the idea that for Kaido to become Joy Boy, someone needs to kill him, and that's impossible. But if Kaido's not Joy Boy, whoever beats him is, and he doesn't think it's possible for someone to beat Kaido. So I actually think we see him losing faith in Joy Boy
in the idea
over those
of
two
Joy
flashbacks.
Boy. Yes, I agree. And you also see him losing faith in Joy Boy mattering.
Yeah.
Where he's like, well,
instead, Kaido's strength to change the world might just be enough.
Yeah. Where he's like, well, maybe this is just fiction in comparison to the strength of Kaido. The world didn't expect a Kaido.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because we're bringing up them, I want to say an observation I've had for a long time that I want your thoughts on, that I've just noticed a consistent trend with Emperor right-hand men. If you look at Marco, we don't know about Ben Beckman, obviously, but if you look at Marco, Katakuri, King, and I would argue Zoro, all of them share a trait, which is they seem invincible, which is Marco can regenerate, Katakuri can dodge every attack, and King's body is indestructible most of the time. And for Zoro, seemingly no amount of blood loss matters to this man. I think there's something very interesting that a lot of the Emperor right-hand men have a feigned invincibility about them. They have an air of invincibility and untouchability. We don't know who Blackbeard's right-hand man really is. I'd argue Shiryu at this point, who we know is invisible, and I think that could also give an air of invincibility.
And I would say Cruzero is right, because that's kind of what I was thinking. Is the other thing is a right-hand person needs to be a person who could be a captain in their own right, but chooses to follow the will of another person that they think is worthy of their admiration. And that's super important, because your right hand can't be a person who's like, they're very, very impressive, blah, blah, blah. Like Marco could run his own crew without
Oh,
any
yeah,
problem.
absolutely.
But honestly, so could Zoro. It would just be a matter of Zoro finding the right type of people
And
that would
people
complement his
constantly comment to Zoro, he's not the captain.
Exactly.
Like, it's a common thing in the series for people to say. So I think you're absolutely right. So that,
Even though Zoro does get himself lost a lot, like the Wandering Ronin.
Yeah. I think there's something very specific to how all of them seem to have a gimmick that makes them seem untouchable. That's very interesting to me.
I like that. You can't. Hey, Zoro doesn't necessarily always. Zoro in the find funny sentences thing has why do all these places look the same? I need a map. If you get lost one more time, I swear. Oh wait, that's me. Zoro is just the goofiest. Where the hell am I now? Damn it, I'm lost again.
He's just a wandering drunk lunatic for a lot of the early part of this arc.
I love that he's a wandering drunk lunatic. I love how fast and far he goes downhill so that we understand just how important Luffy is to his life.
It's great.
Yeah. I love also Kaido and Luffy, where Luffy goes, I'm having fun now. So am I. It's nice that in his last fight that he really got to enjoy himself. Even though I don't give a shit how happy he is, because he's the baddest. He's the baddest boy in Badville. I want to see my mommy.
Got a weird trait to him where it's like, God, he sucks so hard. He's such a bad guy, but also I can't help but be like, yeah, he kind of rules.
Well, you kind of got to admire him. And I like that he's got the funny thing. Because remember when we were talking and I said I was so glad that Luffy was goofy.
Yeah.
And that... And so is Kaido, you pointed out, because we've got Drunken Dragon Bagua, and we've got all the different types. He goes through rage, and he goes through drowning his sorrows. He goes through all of these different things, drunken flirty, when he's fighting. And so he's got his own funniness to him, you pointed out to me, which is really cool. Because Oda was like, even the baddiest of the bad is also kind of a joke.
That's One Piece for you.
Nothing will get taken that seriously. And it makes you thrilled. Because thank God. Can you imagine if he kept getting more and more serious? Oh, you got to add a bell in me.
Because it was heading that way for such a long time, a lot of people really did want it to keep getting more and more serious. And like, Oda... Something that we talked about on, I don't remember if this was a phone call after or if this was on stream. I think it was phone call after. How Gear 5 is the sun, not because it has a literal light power, but because figuratively it brightens the world. It is actually, it is figuratively lighting up the world, lighting up everyone's day, making everything lighter. That's the sun.
It's not
That's
just
the
about
power of the sun.
Heat
it brings
and light.
warmth.
It's about lightness of heart.
Yeah. So
which is why Joy Boy is the drum of his heart, because it's about lightness of heart.
Yeah, of course Mama Drawk remembers Pearl. Everyone remembers Pearl. Pearl is the most memorable and important character in One Piece.
Which means Pearl's coming back soon when people start doing shit like that. God damn it. I hate Pearl.
You were not a fan of Pearl.
Not happy. Pearl better not be coming back. But why else would anyone in the world just suddenly ask that question?
That is the issue when people ask these questions. Is
hate Pearl.
Feels like they're saying something.
Nope. He definitely is. People are trying too hard to pull me away from it. Damn it! Why won't you just die, you piece of crap? When you come, am I going to get to see Luffy kill him? Will Luffy kill him? Oh my God, are Pearl and Caribou going to hang out? Please, no.
Just let the story happen.
No. Please.
Let it all happen, you know?
Oh, I don't want to talk about that. I'm moving on. Okay. So the fight is incredible. And then we get our 5 elders. I don't know if I've told you this lately. They're not giving me joy lately, these 5 elders.
The 5 elders are not giving the people in charge
First
of the world
they're
government.
like, steal Robin. And you're like, yeah, I know how you killed her entire people and you ordered them to go and kill. So I'm not happy with you.
The one frustration with Oda's writing is he's so good at world building and making the world feel consistent and lived in, and people act the way they would, that you have to put up with shit like this where it's like, guys, you already did that. We did. Stop saying it. You did it already. We did that storyline. So like, that's the one issue with taking your story seriously, is you end up having to repeat yourself because of course they're going to try again. Literally, why would they not?
So they go to tell them that they have to get Robin. And then we have to presume Nico Robin is already in custody. She's not, shit face.
Because
and so I was glad that that got happened for them. But later we're going to find out other things about that. And then I'm just angry as heck. So it's to erase that fruit's name from the annals of history. No. There's a huge shadow up ahead. What is it? No, it's not possible. That fruit is only a legend, even to us. It is not awakened for centuries upon centuries. Then why would the government bother to give that one specific devil fruit another name? And this is when we knew that Luffy was going to have, and it was going to be a people devil fruit of all the insulting things.
Where someone pointed out that apparently, oh no, you pointed out, you remembered me being like, I don't know, I think a human fruit could be cool, when you were like, that's a lame devil fruit.
And you were like, haha, I'm a jester. Uh-huh.
I think
watch me
Jin
be
is the term we use.
Sorry. Watch me be a Jin and say things that are just tricks, eh? And I'm like, no.
I forgot that I did that, so you remembering it when we were doing our live watch was very funny to me.
I remembered one recently as you were saying it, and I was like, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to give you Jin credit, even though that was a really good one.
You gotta give me the Jin credit.
I just didn't. It's too late. It's done.
What do you think I'm doing this if not for the credit?
If not for the credits?
Sorry, am I not getting class credit for this?
I didn't know you were looking for it. Do you want me to give you something?
I thought I got credit for this. I was
sorry,
writing
you
this down as an elective.
Nope, sorry, fail.
Yeah, fun.
I don't know what to tell you. Still fail. Where are we?
Mama Drawk, do you think Shanks knew about the devil fruit? Do you think Shanks...
Everyone is like, I think Shanks was bringing it to Ace, and that if he brought it to Ace because Ace was Roger's son and da-da-da-da-da. But had Shanks met Luffy at that point?
No, Shanks met Luffy when he showed up on the island.
Yeah, I think the minute... I do think Shanks knew. I think Shanks is some secret baddie of badassness that... Well, I mean, the emperors are... Or the elders are afraid of him. He said, I want time to talk to you. And they were like, okay.
I've got a question for you. There is a thing about Shanks that is likely true that was hinted at right now very, very blatantly. At the point you are at, most One Piece fans knew a fact about Shanks, but they knew it from a pamphlet that came out to give information about a movie.
Oh.
It is...
Can I know about it?
The worst decision in One Piece's history of writing is that this information was given out in that way. Would you like information that the fan base at this point had about Shanks?
Well, yeah, because I feel that it's not very fair.
It isn't very fair otherwise, but...
I can't make the same level of guesstimations.
A pamphlet that came out for a movie hinted both that Roger found Shanks in a treasure chest on a place called God Valley, and that he was a baby of a celestial dragon. This was a pamphlet for a movie that hinted at these two facts.
Yes. So he was found in a treasure chest.
On God Valley.
On God Valley.
Which is where Roger and Garp fought Rox Dizabek.
And
So
then
the second part is in the movie. Okay, either way, one's in the pamphlet, one's in the movie. So this is information about the story that came from a non-canon movie,
and give
partially
me
written
the
by
surname.
Oda. What? Oh, and they gave a surname, which was Figureland. Wait, or was it Garling? I'm misremembering if the which one of the names it is. It's Figureland, right? It's Figureland. There's a lot of names in One Piece.
Child of a celestial or child of an emu?
Of a celestial dragon.
And it can't be a child of an emu?
I mean, we don't like that part was not confirmed.
Because how does he have, just like, hear me out. How does he have that hat if he's not the child of an emu?
Well, the hat he got from Roger. That's Roger's hat that Roger gave to him.
Right, because Roger had the hat. Wow, that was a brain glick. You know what? I'm comfortable.
Sometimes the brain does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is a lot to process, and it's wild that you're getting this info this way. I genuinely, there is no decision I critique Oda more for than that this is how this information was given.
I wonder if he did it on purpose so that people had to watch movies and shit because it gave
so.
away big pieces.
I think so.
Like, I could see doing it as a way of getting people to watch the movie.
Tail being the name was revealed shortly before it was in the manga in a movie.
Yeah, that's
because
wild.
Someone made the reward. Someone had, I think it was the reward for something in a movie. I don't remember the details. I haven't watched it yet. We're not that far in our movie watch along. Which, now that you've seen these cool episodes, we'll probably, once you're caught up at least, we'll start watching movies again instead of watching episodes. It's just the episodes at this point are so good.
But anyone could have known it was at least Laugh Tell because of the LR thing.
Yeah, well, but nobody did. We were all calling it Raftel. But it became Laugh Tale in the movie by having an eternal pose to the island be in the movie.
It was Laugh Tall to me since.
Okay, it was a reward, sort of. Okay.
Shit, I don't even know when it was Laugh Tall to me.
Not until the he laughed moment in the flashback.
Logetown.
Yeah.
IQ just said, damn. Good for me.
Yeah.
Laugh Town, I think, is what I called it in the end.
You did.
And I still keep calling it
something, and then you were set on Laugh
I still keep calling it Laugh Town. Laugh Town for life,
anyways,
baby.
That's info on Shanks that readers at this point had, which I again think shouldn't have been in a movie. Or a pamphlet that came with tickets to a movie.
That changes some shit, and I don't know how to stick those pegs in because all my pegs are out of place now.
It's a bit of a one, huh?
Okay, I'm gonna have to think on that. I don't have time now.
Okay, so we're moving on.
Shit on a turkey, man. That's a little wild.
I'm
gonna move way on.
Let's move way on.
You ready for this, baby?
I'm always ready. Let's do it. Let's go.
Luffy does the fighty fights. He's fighting. Some fighting is happening. Do you like how detailed that is?
I loved how detailed that was, TBH.
And then Zoe says, I have come to join the fight at your side. And he says, Momonosuke, I am awaiting your orders, which is interesting because then we're like, is Momonosuke Joy Boy? Grrr.
Yeah.
You got this, Zoe. And then Zoe is like, I do not wish to open the borders. I am not smart enough to understand if it would mean exposing people to Wano into danger. Am I simply a coward? No. As soon as he said that, I was like, no, it's probably better we take a pause here and maybe look around a little bit first. So I'm 100% in. 100.
We'll get to opening the borders, Momo. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Mention that opening the borders now can be like a separate event that he can come back to and reconnect. Oh yeah, Zanesha. And so I think that was a good choice just story-wise, right? Like, yeah, okay, that's good. And then Shitface comes to try and kill people, and he's like, do you mind if I be CP0 and I interrupt the drunken beggar in the middle of his fight and kill a Luffy?
Well, he doesn't even kill the Luffy. He holds Luffy still so a club kills him.
Yeah, I understand, but he knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah, the goal was a dead Luffy.
And the look in Kaido's eyes, like he actually has a tear in his eyes.
Yeah, he was having the most fun fight he'd had in probably decades, and this bitch stroll in.
Exactly. And it was so embarrassing. And then his life shoots out of his body. I do not hear Luffy's voice anymore, says Momo. And everyone is like, and his eyes go. And then the guy just stands there like a shit. Winner, Kaido the Beast. So you're prepared for what happens next. And then he just knows, yeah, you best be prepared. Master Kaido, where's your leader? I must have Momonosuke surrender. And he's trying to take out everyone. All during this time, I wasn't worried at all because I've already decided by this point that Luffy is going to have to be dead. But I question, did other people cry when this happened?
People knew something would happen. We were all debating what it would be. Is Law gonna immortal surgery him? Is a Devil Fruit Awakening saving him? Is he really dead? People were saying, like, is Zoe gonna save him somehow? Zanesha has some power. Another mink drug dose. There was so many different theories about what was gonna happen, because most people, by most people I mean I haven't seen a single other person put together the idea that Kaido wanting to die must have meant he believed in a prophecy. Because I think if other people had come to that conclusion ever, they would have started to be like, okay, what prophecies exist, and started to get wise to Joy Boy. But the idea that there was a prophecy Kaido wanted, thus the idea that becoming Joy Boy meant dying, I hadn't seen anybody put together before. So you were in a really weird position there.
Because earlier I decided there's got to be something up with this biatch trying to decide that he had to die. Like, why does he want to die? Why does Oda keep bringing it up? It's important. And then I was like, okay.
Well, I think I haven't seen anyone else firmly put together the idea that, of course, dying is what had to happen for Luffy, possibly particularly dying in Wano, because, yeah, he becomes Joy Boy that way, and Kaido wanted to be Joy Boy. I haven't seen someone put that together even now, and you did it before it happened.
Yeah, because
like, it's not something I've seen someone put together before.
It had to happen, because otherwise, why was Kaido trying to kill himself all the time? It had to be the completion of a prophecy. And then when I realized, when you said that my hatred of Kaido was taking over my ability to make a prediction, I was like, okay, I'm just going to be Kaido. And so I sat around for probably an hour saying, I'm Kaido. What do I want? Why am I doing it? What is it that I'm hoping for? And then I was like, he's got to die because he thinks that's his prophecy. Okay, so what's his prophecy? Oh, he thinks he's Joy Boy. Of course he does. He's an effing dragon. Nobody can kill him. I'm the strongest damn person in the world. No one can kill me. Obviously, I am the chaos that brings about a new dawn. And I decided as soon as I quit acting in hatred and became Kaido, that the story just made sense.
Like, I've seen so many people talk about it, and I have not seen one person prop up the idea that there was a prophecy he was trying to fulfill. And I just think you're right. I think you are right that, yeah, he knew that Joy Boy was going to die before he awakened as Joy Boy on Wano. And that's why he wanted to die on Wano.
Yeah. And so once I realized that, I was like, oh, well, then Luffy has to die. So Luffy is going to die, and he's going to be reawakened. But nothing could have prepared me for the frickin' joy of seeing Zanesha when everyone's like, I can't hear him. He's gone out of this world. And all of a sudden, there's just one panel. And this is why I wondered how much Zanesha being there was giving Luffy life. Because if you look a few panels earlier when Zanesha is in the ocean, let me see if I can find this shit. If I can find this crap. When Zanesha's on his way, he makes this sound. And then when you look at the panel where Luffy dies, when we're in chapter 143, and Luffy is the deaded, and he's laying on the ground, all of a sudden there's this sound that comes above Luffy. And it was the same that that Zanesha made in an earlier panel. And all of a sudden, a above one little panel, it goes ba-bump. And then it makes this sound to Zanesha that he made earlier. Grrm. And then he goes, Momonosuke. I can hear it. How long has it been? What is it, Zanesha? I hear the drums of liberation for the first time in 800 years. He is here. Who is? Joy Boy. And then it shows Luffy melting in to a goddamn comic creation has returned. And he's grinning and laughing, ear to goddamn ear. F my bees, that's amazing.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's no words for how well that was done. That was done so fucking well. What happened to me? Why can I still not stand? Even though I lost. I'm having fun for some reason. And then it goes, dump, da da dump, da da dump. Luffy is Joy Boy. Is that what Zanesha is saying? The fact that Luffy's heart is the drum beat.
Beautiful, isn't it?
I'm going to cry. I'm just going to cry. It's so good. It's so good.
Hey,
okay, I want to move through these shitheads so that I've never said this before, but we're going to move through these shitheads so I can talk about my Luffy again.
Speaking of so good, can I take a brief moment to say this Gear 5th Luffy is looking better than I thought it would? And quick art tip for anybody, digital art tip. The best way to make lightning look like lightning is don't color the inside of it, make it white, and just change the color of the lines. And then you can add a bit of a glow later. You can go purpley, you can go blue, your choice. Yeah, if you change the color of the lines, it does a lot more. We're going to add a little bit later, but the core of lightning should always be white, so it looks brighter. There we go. All right, now we can move on.
I watched the episode with Everyone's Our World on Patreon. Sacred Marjo, the Hall of Power, Pangea Castle, which is the connection of the whole world into a one piece. So we've lost an elite agent and we've made Kaido angry. What was the point? What if I told you that there was a potential future that would make us beg for this outcome? It's always better to eliminate dangerous variables. In every era, the world government has attempted to recover the gum fruit, and not once has it succeeded for 800 years. So of course Shanks took it on purpose. Shanks is a goddamn celestial dragon child. He was found in a treasure chest. He is a treasure. And he was found by the most powerful people. He knows people. Yeah, the ant. Pangea, one piece of land. And so he knows people. He knows what's happening. He knew what he was taking. It's as though the devil fruit is trying to escape our grasp, and it very well might be. Zoan fruits contain a will of their own. And this particular fruit, so I like to think of Zoan fruits having a will of their own, the same way that we think of Enma having a will of its own, that the Zoan fruit has that kind of like hockey pole. And so Luffy did have to literally fight with himself as he was moving up between his Hawkeye and his devil fruit.
I think that's how a lot of people take it, especially because we see Yamato who's protecting, this is a theory that was out at this time, we see Yamato protecting Wano, able to awaken his Zoan, whereas we see Kaido, who also has a fruit that is indicated to be the sacred protector of Wano, who, despite being so strong and so powerful, seems to not be able to awaken his Zoan.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So, the idea being that, like, yeah, there is a thing with a will that you need to either be dominating or in tune with to be able to awaken your Zoan fruit, which I like as a theory.
I do as well. Hey, you made Luffy's goofy Gear 5 sexy.
What? I don't
Move
think so.
Closer to his face.
I think he just looks normal. I think he looks fine.
Move close to it. Look at him.
He's good. He's great.
Sexy Luffy. All right, here I go. It's as though the devil fruit is trying to escape our grasp. Zone fruits, blah, blah, blah. And particularly this fruit has a name of a god. The other name of this gum fruit is Zoan type human fruit, mythical model, Nika. Doom diddy doom, possessing a body with the properties of rubber and fighting in whatever way he fancies, bringing smiles to the faces of people, the warrior of liberation, also known as Nika, the sun god. Awakening brings his rubbery body greater physical strength and freedom. It is said that in all of the world, there is no power more ridiculous. I have to admit that when I got here, this is the moment that I looked at this. I looked at how I predicted all the ways in which he would get here, and I predicted he was going to be a sun god way back. I thought it was going to happen so much sooner. Obviously, I was just like, "There's so many clues. Why hasn't it happened yet?" It's so ridiculous. Everything is leading us here. Why are we still waiting? And I was waiting here, and I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to lie." Now I know why people have been so spazzy and thinking that I'm a big fakety faker, because this is wild. I predicted so much of how this would happen.
Yep.
But then I high-fived myself and I said, well done, me.
So people might not have been here earlier when we gave the shooting diamond star. We did diamond stars early today just to get them, because there was a fucking pile of stars we needed to give out. So instead, right now, I'm going to give you a mushroom.
Oh yeah? Is it for the Momo moment?
No, it's for devil fruits don't make people a god.
Did I actually predict that, though? You can't just give me
you
mushrooms.
Said it.
No, I said a lot of things. I'm sorry. We've decided it's just for predicty things, because otherwise we could go in and just say a bunch of shit.
People are saying you predicted it.
If it's on the prediction page, 100%. You know I won't turn down a delicious purple leaking
mushroom. If someone
mushroom.
can get what number devil fruits don't make people a god is, then we are absolutely giving a purple mushroom for it.
Gotta be in the number, peoples. Gotta be in the number. Because you have to know how much I just say.
You did say hockey would be how he did it. Actually, that was one of your predictions. Hockey would be how he is a sun god.
Yeah, I did. I said hockey. I think I get a star for that too.
No, you don't. It's Devil Fruit Awakening.
Yeah. If it's a prediction, I said because he only got to where he was going to be.
You know what? We're going to hold off on giving you a mushroom for that one, and we're going to say if we later find out you need to develop your hockey to awaken a devil fruit, then if we get that confirmation,
we did find out. We did find out in chapter 1058 or 59. They said that the only reason that you can awaken it is when your fruit and your hockey, or even Kaido, I think, says it, come into balance with each other, that it awakens you.
No, wait, you're right. They do outright say it. Never mind. So fuck it. That's a gold star. That's a gold star.
That's a gold star.
In a weird way, because it is the devil fruit, not hockey, but yes, devil fruit awakening is hockey based.
Yes. It's only when your body and mind catches up to your fruit.
It doesn't say your
hockey. It does say hockey in another part where he said where you learn to when you learn to grasp a hold of your hockey.
All right. Gold star. Star.
Ooh.
But devil fruits do make people a god.
They definitely do. 100%.
We stop saying that Crocodile has their fruit awakened. This is the thing people say all the time. We don't know that at all. Everyone just says it. He never does. We don't even know what Logia awakenings look like. It has yet to be confirmed. We just see him do cool shit with it.
I hope he doesn't. I'd like to see it. Oh, the Blackberry Witch just subscribed for 6 months in a row. Thank you, Blackberry Witch. Can I just say that my very favorite invasive species is the blackberry? There is nothing better than walking along and eating hot blackberries off of the side of my road. Can't even.
I have to be honest, as far as invasive species go, I gotta feel like if the creator of Native American mythology were to examine the blackberry, they'd be like, maybe that one can be here. Actually, that's fine. That's cool.
We have a blackberry that is local as well.
It just isn't as tasty as the Himalayan blackberry.
It just isn't as tasty as the Himalayan. You know, when we go to play frisbee golf on the other island and you have all those blackberries back there?
Yes.
Oh, delicious.
Okay, I thought there was gonna be a fact coming.
I could not have been happier. The goofy ways in which he fights Kaido at this point are incredible.
Oh, wait. Someone found out that the exact thing you said. Thank you, Caleb.
Thank you, Caleb.
The exact thing you said was that a special color of hockey would be the sun god power, which it was not. So the mushroom's back on the table.
No, wait, no. The special color of hockey thing was because I remember, isn't that when I saw Luffy? And so I said, and
exactly.
that has nothing
That's
to
a
do.
prediction you made still.
No, I'm not done. That had nothing to do with whether the special color would make him. I just said the special color would indicate his turning into something special.
The
only reason I know that is I just watched it on Dressrosa twice in a row.
All right, we're gonna hold off on that. We're gonna have to do a check the tapes moment. We're giving homework to the editors. Look at
Dressrosa, the last episode with the thing that I said from it.
Okay, we're giving homework to the editors, the other episode to find out the exact thing that was said, because sure, the way it was noted might mean one way, but we should know what was said.
I agree, because it was when I accidentally found out that there was a white-colored Luffy when I was trying to make myself earrings.
Part 3.
Yeah, and I said, so now I think that the white color Luffy is indicating a move up in his hockey into maybe being sun god.
We leave it to the editor of this episode to adjudicate if this is a star, a mushroom, or a shroom star.
I'm comfortable with it. Let me talk about this now. It's super funny. So Luffy comes in and we're like, this is ridiculous. What is his thing going to be about? And then he immediately grabs Kaido by the tail and smashes his face into the ground, then spins him around in a circle so Kaido's eyeballs do the being in the front out of his head thing, and then uses him as a skipping rope. And then he starts laughing and laughing, and it says Gear 5. I'm sorry about that idiot earlier. I didn't want to win that way. Don't sweat it. Let's finish this up. He's just so good. So good, Luffy. So good, my boy. His body transformations. Where does he say this? I was certain that you were dead. Me too. Given that you're transferring your rubber power to other things, I suppose. Remember, I talked about this too. That is a gold star. I said that I thought that when he moved in, I don't know why I had
his awakening would turn other things to rubber. That is true.
That he would be able to turn the world around him into rubber.
He does. There's more to it than that, but that is a thing he does.
I couldn't, it was because we were talking about...
You even said you felt like there had to be more to it than that, but that would be part of it.
Yeah, I did say there would be more to it than that. But I don't even know why I said it. I think that we were talking about somebody else.
Because in Dressrosa, Dofi turned his world to strings. So you were like, obviously Luffy will make other things rubber.
Yes. And so I was like, well, if that can happen, then Luffy will be able to make things rubber. And he does. And he starts bouncing around, and nothing could be more cool. But then I thought, like, yeah, Momo keeping the island up for as long as he did was cool. But they could also do a thing where they turned the island to rubber. Although you don't want to bounce rubber balls off of people. Anyone who's been hit in the head with a dodgeball in elementary school knows that. So then he says, I suppose I can interpret this as an awakening of your paramethea powers, but something doesn't add up. Body transformations like that are a trademark of Zoan powers. I like that as Luffy is bouncing through Kaido's body and ballooning him, we're having this whole side conversation about how his powers work and how he's become awakened.
We get props to Kaido real quick, because literally who else keeps their cool and rolls with the punches better than this man?
Oh yeah, he's like, oh, are you awakening in front of me? Were you just dead and now you're alive? And now you seem to be some sort of crazy, weird Zoan paramethea? And you're like, yep. And he's like, that's cool, but things aren't adding up. Let's break this apart while we fight, shall we? And you're like,
run some numbers on what's going on to me right now.
Jelly makes a good point, though. Like, he's drunk, so he's just rolling with the punches.
Oh, of course he can roll with the punches. Yeah, he's drunk.
The grossest, thank you, Penguin. One of the grossest things that we can ever see is Luffy's freaking arms coming through Kaido's eyes and grabbing his nose.
It's awful, yeah.
That is, and somebody said when we were watching this with our with our Patreon, somebody was like, I love that part. And I was like, how? It's so horrendous.
I mentioned this on our stream, but I just want to say again, because I think it's so funny. I love when a friend of mine pointed out that this whole section of chapters is literally just like a straight 4 chapters of Kaido screaming in confusion and then being like, all right, but now I'm good.
This
and then
part
more
here,
screaming in confusion.
where Luffy turns into a giant, how big does he become? He's kilometers, because his foot is way bigger than Kaido's
I think the
head.
size might
his...
just be inconsistent, but if he is actually, if Kaido is as big there as his dragon form is drawn to be sometimes, Luffy is like the size of oars at least.
Oh, bigger. Because if you look at this picture, very dangerous picture, because Kaido's got his face positioned in eat penis. And Luffy has got his foot over his face. He looks at least half of the length of Kaido.
So, I mean, him being like, so Kaido's minimum 3 kilometers long, so Luffy being a kilometer tall kind of checks out, considering Gear 5th at the end of this does allow him to make a 15-kilometer wide punch.
Yeah, okay.
Which,
because I think that he looks to be a kilometer. I think he looks to be a kilometer and a half long, but I think he could almost get to 3 kilometers if he reached his hands up over him. If he was to put his toes at the front of Kaido and just fall forward and reach his hands up.
fucking
like, he's huge.
Crazy shit.
He's huge.
Too big.
When Kaido bites him, they have the same size face.
Yeah, so bigger than oars for sure. Like, hey, I know, Blackbeard, you think you have the world's biggest dude on your crew. I don't think you do anymore, actually.
Nope, you don't. I like when Luffy's eyes come out of his head like that. As I gotta say that there's some moments in here that I feel are just so sweet if you're the same age as the manga maker, because I really feel like sometimes he's just given me a nod, like, see this? And I'm like, I do see that. And so I know other people watch Tom and Jerry, and I know other people watch all the shows that he's making references to, but there's something special about seeing them being used. It's a nostalgic feeling. And it makes me do this. Yay. I also like, because remember when I said before how upsetting it was that Luffy needs to eat all the meat in the world in order to get strong again, but now he goes, who says I'm at my limit? And then he goes, wheeze, and then turns into that melted, injured old man. I'm tuckered out. Oh yeah, I was dying before this. Wow, it takes a lot of energy. You have my assurances. After you die, someone will tell your tale. I don't need any of that. Once we're dead, the only thing that's left is bones. Oh my God, Luffy, that's terrifying. But then he's just like, but his voice is nearly, this can't end yet. Kinemon, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking. And then Luffy goes, you actually think I'm afraid of that? And he just stands up. And he already has strength again. Didn't need to eat. Didn't need to change. Yeah, I know that line is from that, which is awesome. Didn't need to do anything. Just went back to himself again. Then got punched in the face with the club. Allowed his face to rubberly shape around the club, which is such early Luffy, only now it's effective. And then ran away with his face in club shape. Ugh.
That shot
what a
is
nod
so
to early
fucking
cartoons.
Funny. Yeah, it is just comedy gold. Honestly, I love it. Love it. I know people want, there are the people who wanted serious out of this. Fuck that. This is great. This is golden. This is perfect.
No, screw serious. That's the problem. Everyone wants serious. I love what they decided to do with this. It's so worthy. It's so worthy. I love it. I was so afraid that we were going to get this freaking depressing bullshit. And instead, what do we get? Freaking cartoon crazy Luffy. And that's amazing. Okay, Paladin Berserker, Oda, 2016. My audience won't be satisfied if the reason for defeating Kaido is just because Luffy has a strong punch. Luffy must find a solution. Also, Oda, Luffy gets a big giant fist and punches Kaido.
Okay, I actually have a take on this that I
don't
think I've seen a lot of people talk about, which I get.
Go
it.
ahead.
It's a funny joke regardless.
I love it.
I don't think the size of the punch is what beat him, and I think a lot of people have been like, oh yeah, it's just hockey, but that's still a punch. No, hear me out. What I think worked and this is beyond just the symbology gear 5th, I think the force of the punch alone wasn't quite enough to finish him off. But because he was in gear 5th, he was able to use Toon Force logic and drill a Kaido-shaped hole into the earth, and then the lava finished him off. That is my read on what happened. I genuinely think how Luffy won was by using Toon Force logic to punch him through the Kaido-shaped hole in the ground to boil him. Like, it wasn't that the punch was so big, it was that he was able to use Toon Force with big punch to drill him into the ground. That's how I read the end of the fight happening.
Aikinu, well done. That's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Kaido if it isn't boiled, yeah. He put him in the bad juice. Don't go in the
I
bad
also
juice, Kaido.
I also like when he beats Kaido up a whole bunch, punches his fist right through the back of Kaido's head, and then he goes, "Isn't this fun, Kaido?" It's so unhinged.
And Kaido's like, "Motherfucker, you just came back from the dead and bent my head around your fist."
And then Kaido says this, "I just have one question. Who are you?"
What the fuck is happening?
And Zanesha, "How long has it been since I've heard this rhythm? Joy boy, oh joy boy. It's as though you're right here and my heart is dancing, but I cannot feel that fate at work. I cannot help but put my hopes in him. Who am I? I'm Monkey D. Luffy, the man who will surpass you and become king of the pirates."
This was so necessary because so many people at the time were theorizing, oh great, Luffy's been possessed by the spirit of Joy Boy. He's not even Luffy anymore, etc., etc. People do not give this man enough credit as a writer because, look, you think he's going to do that? But it was needed for a lot of people to have the reassurance that this is still Luffy.
Yeah, I can see that. I also like that they had the Zanesha water spout thing go up and put off all the fires, because the fires were just kind of pissing me off at this point. It was like that distraction. You're in the middle of something really big and someone keeps going, excuse me, and you're like, I'm gonna lose it. Shut up.
Shut up. But the building's on fire. I'm watching cartoons.
I'm very busy. Yeah, so this was very good.
Be me, 57-year-old man, try to throw house party before my big day. Have guests over. A bunch of dudes I thought were dead come and stab my hand. They had challenged me to a fight on the rooftop. I'm fighting these guys. My old best friend from back in the day showed up to fight with me. We're winning. Great. 5 criminals show up on the roof and continue to challenge me to a fight. Frustrating. Pretty sure I killed one of them. I go down to tell everybody that it's over and to clear out of the property. He's back on a flying dragon that's biting me. Okay, now I beat the shit out of him some more. My son's fighting me. What a spoiled kid. Oh, I'm gonna fight the kid again. The fuck is happening? Now I'm starting to enjoy myself. It's an alright night after all. Oh, a secret agent assassinates the guy I'm fighting. Well, that sucks. I'm gonna tell everybody clear out again. Okay, he turned back to life, turned into a cartoon character, and has warped the reality, warped reality itself to bend my face in on itself to punch me into a mountain. Kaido's having a wild night.
But you gotta admit, the Rising Dragon against the Bajorang Gung and Flame Bagu, when they meet in the heavens.
Your pronunciations, we can't get into it, but those were, you just went for those.
Flame Bagua, Gun Bagrang, Badge, I don't give
Bajorang Gun is how I've seen it pronounced.
I don't, you wanna know a secret?
Yeah.
If people wanna pronounce it, then they should start a YouTube.
I did start a YouTube, but I do want to pronounce it as Bajorang Gun.
No. It's me, man. It's me. I'm the one doing it.
Oh my god.
Eat a bag of ponies, people. I'm here with the microphone. Come on, guard the train. Whoop, we ride it. Here we go.
Love this. The Bangarang Gun, yeah.
Bangarang! What's that from?
Hook, I think.
Yeah! Bangarang! Peter,
Those were my
Bangarang!
favorite movies as a kid, and as an adult, I'm
You,
like,
you
eh.
know what? In so many ways, Luffy is Peter Pan.
True. He
Just not in
flies.
any of the shitty ways.
He sprinkles a tiny woman onto people.
You're a weirdo.
Hangs out with a bunch of Native American coded children he kidnapped and left on an island.
No, but he does travel with a group of lost people
He does.
who can't find their place
Look,
in the
I'm gonna
rest
be
of
honest,
society.
it was hard to find the ones that didn't line up for the joke.
I know. He does fight a. Yes, this person, Croc, is his Captain Hook. Yeah, baby. It's a lot of freaking things going on for him in here.
Croc wishes he was a Captain Hook. Crocodile's probably like, Straw Hat, I'm your arch nemesis. And Luffy's like, yeah, whatever, you want to break out of jail?
That was so awesome. I wish Orochi would go away, says the balloon. Not a problem. Here comes Luffy. Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-bum.
Hey, can we take a moment to acknowledge Toko changing her wish from I want to see you again soon, Daddy, to thank you, Daddy?
Oh, the thank you, Daddy is so sweet. And more importantly, she doesn't want to do the dying anymore because she understands what he's given up for her to be alive.
Yep.
Aww. I love her. She's so sweet. She's still not best kid.
No, look, there's stiff competition for best child this arc.
And in my opinion, it's still not Momo.
I love Momo and his development, but in my opinion, it was never Momo. It could never be Momo. Best girl is here.
Yeah. Be my best girl, my little Tama. Even though she's a slave person.
Hey, we got it revealed, though. After a month, they get to choose if they want to stay that way or go back to normal.
Uh-huh. And then she creates her own mummy and says, I hope you choose to be with me, slave horse.
The world where Speed chooses to be a criminal again and is just like, I'm gonna head out. Like, are we willing to forgive all the crimes I did against your people, even though I'm not?
Hey, the reveal of the big nose boy being the grandfather, little wild.
Yep. It was predicted by a lot of people, surprisingly.
Well, you knew that he didn't actually die because in the earlier things it talked about how he was just on death's doorstep, but it never did a death and a funeral.
You know what's
They were just like, and they said he's gone, so that makes sense that people would be into that.
You know, it's a very funny way that the theory got confirmed.
Oh.
The same voice actor got cast for both.
Oh, that makes sense. Do you want to know what's a really funny thing? Is remember I said, well, he has to be more because this isn't enough. But then I just stopped thinking about him. Do you want to know why?
You did not come back to him. You were too busy thinking about Kaido prophecy, and you were like, there's more to this Tengu man, and just never thought about him again.
Yeah, remember I was like, there's more to this Tengu man. It doesn't make sense, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, you want to know what? Everyone else focused too much on Tengu man, and that's why they didn't know what the shit was going to happen with Kaido. I'll trade Tengu man reveal for Kaido Luffy Sun God reveal any day. I'll make that trade. I'll make those cards.
They can have that one over you.
I don't give a shit. I'm going to take it. I got a full-time job and a life. I had to choose. I chose. And baby's in a hospital. And I made the better choice, in my opinion. Enjoy your Tengu. T-T-T-T-T-T-T-T, Tengu, Tengu.
Oh yeah, how do you feel about the ancient weapon being revealed to be on Wano?
Oh shit, you knew it was there, right? Like, you knew
probably.
It was there. The fact that Wano has got this shape that it does with the big thing in the middle and then the fresh water is a wildly awesome thing. And then I was like, no, because they got in this way. And then I was like, no, you big donut. They went up a waterfall. Of course they got in that way. And I was like, yeah, baby, that's true. And then I was like, well, god dang, we can't just leave it there, Luffy Luferton. And Luffy was like, you know what? I'll go now.
Do what I want.
I'm a Gear 5 god. I think I'm just gonna Peace out, baby.
I'm going to exactly leave it that way. But there's
Yeah,
an ancient
exactly.
weapon here, Luffy. Yeah. Bye.
It is unfortunate for sure. That's basically what I felt it was. That's unfortunate. Anyway, let's go.
Did you guys want to draw straws?
Very well. I will not open the borders yet. Very well. I will respect your decision. I trust your judgment. Nice, Zanesh. You did a really nice job because Momo's 8. So wherever you can give it to him and give him his power. Momo reminds me of kids with oppositional defiance that I'm just trying to give power to so they feel like they're in control of their own life and destiny so they can do work, learn, and have a life afterwards. So whenever you can give oppositionally defiant Momo a little good thing, then do that because it'll help him in his development and he's going to need all that help. We looking at the moon real hard. That's very interesting. We're going to go back to the moon soon. We got to. Like, Wano, of course, is going to use the moon all the time because it's Japanese coded and Japan, it's got itself a little thing with the moon. I don't know if you know this. It's kind of into itself. Let me ask this question.
Who asked what?
That Japanese people think the best moon happens. There's this whole thing that I keep trying to do. It's the 15th of August that Japanese people think the best moon happens. And now I'm asking, what is the phrase for when they're... You can live with me. You keep people interested in the meantime. I'm busy.
Okay. Hi, everybody. How are we doing? Apparently, I'm supposed to talk to everybody for just a little bit here while Mama looks something up. Oh, man. I had a thing that I was going to mention if this came up.
You're failing right now.
I've just forgotten it. Hey, I'm in the draw zone. You know, that's where we are at the moment. We're figuring out our basic render, blocking it in. We only got like an hour and a half left to finish this off, so I gotta be moving through this.
Stop talking. We're good. Okay, so in Japan, there's this thing for August 15th is considered to be the night of August 15th on the lunar calendar is known as Jogoya, or the night of the full moon in autumn, and it's the best time for moon viewing called Tsukimi. And that usually falls in September or October for us. And then the phrase in Japan, or in Japanese, for when it rains on that night, the night of the full moon in the lunar calendar, is called Jogoya no Ami, which translates to rain on the night of the 15th. It is a big honkin' ass deal. I had a kid who talked about he was in one of those nights, and it's actually a phrase that you would use to people to describe how sad you are or how disappointing something was. You would say, well, it's like Jogoya no Ami to me, and then people would be like, oh, I'm sorry, because they would understand how deeply this is felt by you. So when I was looking at this and I saw a couple where they stuck all the water inside like a moon-looking thing, even though it's a person looking through what I thought was a telescope at first. And then I realized, ooh, we're going to go into the moon soon. We're going to have a moment that's going to that's going to give us some big ass saddy feels, and I'm not here for it. So I hope there. So I'm hoping it's not the next. I hope that there's a little arc. Is there a little arc before the big arc?
There is one arc left, and it's 60 plus chapters already.
Because we're gonna have. Remember, I told you. Oh no, Oda put Eminem back in the panels. So we're gonna have a Eminem moment soon, is what I'm thinking. Because when I was looking at these panels, I was like, "Ooh, that looks like clouds over a full moon." I feel like he's trying to give us those feels that he's trying to warn people that we're coming into a Jogoya no Ami.
Okay.
Whoa. I think it will be interesting. Let's move forward.
That's
Here we
always
go.
an option.
I'm always going to move forward.
You're
hail
more
to
than
the
welcome
god
to
Enel.
try.
what the hell is with the all hail to the god animal? I'm so glad they let people party for days on end. I don't want to talk about it much because it's a party. And you know what these parties are good for?
Was that?
Private viewing. You don't talk about what happens at these parties, stays in these parties, people. Don't bring it out into the wash. Rude.
We do it?
We're moving through the party. We're not talking about what people do. It's kind of like Vegas at these parties. You just let them have their moment.
Is this your way of saying we're trying to move quickly today?
No, it's my way of saying, like, what do you do? What do you talk about when it's party time? Now they're drinking. Look, they're dancing. Now the dancing is still happening.
Yeah,
Yay!
it's really nice.
No.
We all love the parties. They're important.
Yeah,
part
like
of
they're
One Piece.
amazing to sit there and read, but they
No, I
aren't
get what you're
talk
saying.
about out loud things, is what I'm
Talking about
saying.
on a stream, it feels like we don't have that much to do.
I like that Wano will remain impregnable. They must have changed tactics. That's the one. In response to the situation, someone over there is very shrewd. They called Momo shrewd.
Hey, look, he acted in a cunning moment of brilliant leadership, just like Kinemon before him.
Yeah, I was just like, no, get over yourself. Momo's not shrewd. But then they were like, now there is no means of sending a major force to occupy the nation, but at least you will bring back Nico Robin, yes? And then he's like, without fail. Want no secret? If you try to bring back Robin, I will hunt you down and I'll peel your skin off like a grape, and then I'll spear you and dip you in melted, heated sugar. And then you will be a delicious treat for everyone to take a bite out of. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on.
The mood today is hingeless. Loving it.
Everybody parties and they drink the booze. Yes, Bolton. And they go inside of the party and they have fun and they have baths together. And then everybody sees boobies, and Yamato is like, well, I'm a boy, so I'm here. And then they're like, I'm uncomfortable with that.
I feel like everyone else was comfortable with it except for Sanji.
It wasn't Sanji. Sanji was...
Well,
Where
Sanji
is Sanji?
seemed pervy about it. I think everyone else seemed to be pretty normal.
Sanji is falling backwards with blood spurting out of his nose is what's taking place.
He was not chill.
But it's Momo who's not chill. Momo's the one who's, Yamamoto, what are you doing?
No, that makes sense.
And Yamamoto is just like, I'm bathing, you perv. Get over your little self.
I also feel as though Momo, one of the hardest things to deal with may just be imagine suddenly having an adult libido as an 8-year-old. That's horrific. Like, we're not going to get into it beyond that because it's awful.
That's what I said.
That's horror.
That's the horror I'm talking about. Imagine finding out that you're 28 with your disgusting 28-year-old body when a moment ago you were 8.
That's a lot to process at once in the body.
Your body will do things that you're like, what? Ew! No!
Yeah, no, it's incredibly uncomfortable.
Ugh.
And Kiku got to go to the women's bath. Have a good trans rights, Oda says. Oda and Kaido agree on this one.
I don't give a shit about your agenda, biatch. Take this. Boom! Well, it kind of makes sense. If you think about how in Japan, they're like, we don't have a man, so do you want to marry our daughter and take our last name? Because women can't be in charge because women. I really like...
You say that as though that isn't also the incredibly recent West. And still a lot of the West.
Do you think I'm putting shade on One Nation for that?
No.
Trust me when I tell you.
I absolutely don't. I should not be one to talk because there is no one who is more of the belief that you can find contemptible things in every culture than me.
Q. I admire that you understand that.
It's a thing.
Study history and you will learn that people suck.
Every once in a while on stream, I'll say something shitty about a culture and people will be like, oh, so you're a chauvinist. And I'm like, no. My culture does so many things wrong. But that doesn't mean I'm not calling you out.
Calling it all out.
I'll call out
Just
all
because
of you.
I hate these people doesn't mean I can't hate you. Come on now.
Hey,
I
Germany,
got room in my
why
heart.
does the AFD have so much support? Anyways, we can move on.
My God. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a chaos stream. Here we go.
You are.
I really love that he's like, the last message sent out by Cypher Pole after they vanished in Wano was it's Big's mom's ship. I won't let them manipulate this narrative. The moments like these, when the world is in flux, the straight facts are the most fascinating news there is. And then this is what he does. That's his news coup sound. They may never have shown you people, but I'm going to give you straight up facts here. Secretly, that's the sound that Biatch is making every time he makes big news.
It's an issue. The anime exists and the news coup goes.
No, that's what he does in public. You don't see the behind the scenes where he goes.
The behind the scenes news coup.
Yeah,
of course.
I don't know
the behind the scenes news coup.
I don't know if the world is gonna let me make that sound on Discord. There's nothing like good old really. Live entertainment.
I'm gonna be real. Not really. Enough of the sound came through to let me know you did a noise, but not all of it for sure.
Oh shit, man, we gotta work on that because it's very important for me that people get to hear the behind the scenes.
Can you try to make it sound slightly more human?
Yeah.
I think that worked. That was great.
It's now my favorite. It's so good. Okay. I am totally here for the fact that Monkey is now an emperor. An emperor. But if I'm gonna be honest, wow, that happened quickly.
I mean, it feels deserved though, and also, did it happen quickly? This is 24 years into publication.
I mean, for you, God, this has been less than a year for me. We just roofed into here. We went up to roof piece pretty quick in my world.
You're right. It's been like 13 months.
We started this in August.
You're right. Holy shit. I forgot how recently we started it. It's been like 9 months-ish, right?
I'm going to finish this before a year is up, clean and easy. And if I'd been reading it on my own, I would have been done in a month easy.
You would not have been done in a month. You're forgetting how long this was and how many days you've binged.
This has been 9 months, and we're almost at the end of what they've written. Keep that in mind.
I need to be frank with you. When I caught up, I was using the anime, granted. It only went up to like episode 600-ish, and it took me 13 months to catch up.
Yeah, but you weren't using anime, dude. I could
have friends who it took a year to catch up in the manga.
All right, you know what? When we're done this, I'm just going to read it beginning to end and see how fast it takes me.
You're just going to fucking binge? That's insane. Don't do that to yourself.
I'm going to see how fast I can do it.
We're also planning on making other content where we watch and read other things.
Well, then it's going to help me because I'll be reading.
You're a maniac.
By the way, maniac.
To the person in chat who, when I said Dungeon Meshi was slice of life when only a couple episodes have been out, I've read most of it now. I'm going to be done before next Saturday when I'm doing a stream on it. You were absolutely right. Oh, and by the way, if anyone likes Dungeon Meshi, I'm doing a stream next Saturday that people should be there for, because I have an observation I've made about it that I haven't seen anyone else make anywhere that I think I'm right about, and it's super fucking cool, and I'm keeping it close to the vest so that I can do some research and get everything together. What?
Is Dungeon Meshi another manga?
Yes, and its Netflix adaptation anime is fucking fantastic and does the first half of the manga so far. We were going to read that
together because it was so short.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have to read it for my stream I'm doing on Saturday. I genuinely think you should watch and read it, though. It's incredible.
I think you hate me.
I do not hate you, but I have a really good idea for a video and I want to make it.
All right, I'm moving on. This person that I hate who uses his powers regrowing, I like that he came even though he's a piece of shit and sucks everyone's life out of them, because as he walks, he fills the wide world of shitty Wano with really, really good flower power, and they need it, and they need trees. They just do. His face looks like someone, and I'm trying to figure out what famous person he looks like.
You're never going to guess this, but he's another famous Japanese actor.
Well, he looks like a combination. He looks like a combination of a famous Japanese actor and somebody else whom I know, but I don't know who. I was really thrilled for Momo to get to fight him with everyone else. Like they realize that they need to pick up and fight because you can't always have the big guys with you. I thought that was pretty cool. Do you want to know what I was really not thrilled with?
Was that?
Shanks deciding to leave and go find the One Piece instead of seeing Luffy Luferson first.
He said meet him. He'll meet him soon. He's not at the pinnacle yet. He's like, you're not there yet, kid. Fuck off.
Like.
Hey, Shanks, you realize he awakened his god powers, has a 3 billion berry bounty, has declared the 4th ep. Hey, he's not there yet.
It's not strong enough for me. I'm gonna need more, fellas.
Sorry,
but now,
boys. He's just a loser. Okay.
Now I know they're gonna meet closer to getting the One Piece. I feel like Shanks is putting himself in position. You know, like when you sacrifice your queen for your king?
I need you to think about something. At this point, when you say, well, now I know, what's so cool about that is you're going to say that, and the thing I've said couldn't possibly be giving you a spoiler because you're almost caught up and almost none of the stuff you're predicting is going to have happened yet.
So now I think that he's setting himself up in the way that he wants to be in position for Luffy at the One Piece. Like, he's like, let's go get us the One Piece, but I don't think he wants it. I think that Shanks really understands who Luffy is, and I think that Shanks understands the prophecy, and Red Hair Shanks has decided that he is going to put himself in the right position to be the right kind of aide.
I think he's going to get killed by Blackbeard.
I know you do, and I hate that for you.
You know what I love about being a Blackbeard fan?
I hate it when you talk about that.
You know what's great about being a Blackbeard, what's so hard about being a Blackbeard fan?
Is that you hate the things he does, but you like him?
It's really hard to hold all these W's. My hands are just so full of W's. It's really difficult. It's really slowing me down in my daily life.
So much. So what I have to say to you is boo! Wait, did that come through?
Yeah, that came through.
Boo! It was really important to me that the sound came out.
It did.
I was sad. The whole thing that happens with Sabo makes me sad. The whole Sabo thing, like, I hope he didn't kill him. It makes me sad. Sabo. Okay. Now,
okay, actually, I thought that was just dunking on Sanji, but now that I think about it, saying it's the opposite of being a Sanji fan is real though, because we're both Sanji fans. I, as a character, love Sanji, right?
You're not a character, but you love the character Sanji. I'm here with you.
There is no Sanji fan who endorses everything he's done.
No, I don't.
If you're a Sanji fan, you just have to have some L's because he's done some stuff you think is not respectable.
Yeah, and you know why.
Yep.
I love the design of Wano.
It's so pretty.
It's wild.
I actually think environment design is one of the only things I don't like about the next arc, and most people love it, so I think you're going to love it, but I will get into
Why do you think I'm going to love it if you don't love it?
We have different tastes. Mostly because most people really love the visual design in the next arc.
Mm-hmm.
I
love the Shanks question when he says, "Are you that afraid of the new era?" Shanks. I just love that Shanks. The Supreme King Hockey. Who's doing that? The red-haired pirates. Are you nearby? Stop. Yeah, that's right. You little whiny bitch.
Sorry, Luffy, I can't come see you. I was just here to promote my movie. Have this panel of my daughter from the movie. Let me
just quickly say this.
Yeah.
Shrivel up, little tree boy, and move away. All you are is a sprout in the world of oaks. Moving on.
It's pretty good. It's pretty poetic.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes I don't just talk about peeling people's skin off. I go in other directions. All right, here we go. This is what I want to talk about, and this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about the fact that I read chapters 158 and 1058 and 1059.
Yeah.
Because in my defense,
Yeah.
Me and old Jim were talking, and we decided to get the heck out of Dodge together. So
Right.
I feel good about it.
Can I tell you how happy I am to hear you say "in my defense" again? Because it's been a while since you've gotten to read ahead.
I know. I'm so excited I got to read ahead. People are all like, "Don't read ahead. You can't read ahead." And I was like, "Here I go, baby. You can't stop me." And then I decided, as a treat for after, I like how they decide how to go to the middle one, the other middle one, and the northeast when the boys are deciding how to divide up was so freaking funny.
It
Okay,
was great.
I want to go into some of my theories because I do want to be respectful of the fact that it's the day of Fotheringtons
Yeah.
and hang out with your father. Oh, and see you. You must
Yeah.
be so excited. You get to
I'm
look
so
me in my
excited. I
face.
would love, though, if you took slightly more time than you want to, because holy shit, I might have bitten off more than I can chew trying to render this today.
All right, listen to me.
Yeah.
I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I won't want to take a million years. You can render it later too. You know the secret.
I do the art on stream. That's the whole conceit of the show.
You have 7 times gone ahead and done your renders after. Don't make me beat you.
I don't
I'm a
think that's
busy
true.
woman. Okay. So you know how we talk all the time about how the last Patrillion, no, it's not time for countdown. How the last Patrillion different arcs have been leading us on a journey of leadership. And people might be like, we've talked about leadership. Yeah, we have, because that's what this is about. And
I mean,
people
a lot of
angry
the
about
themes
that.
of One Piece are around leadership.
I have something to tell you. Buckle
Hey guys,
up, biatch.
how
Here
do
comes
people
some
think
more
that a series is going to
leadership.
be apolitical when one of its major themes is leadership? Like, leadership is inherently political. You can't talk about the qualities of a good leader without political bias. It's literally impossible.
You interrupted my bad guy saying.
I
can't believe you.
do.
Know what? I'm going to make a new one now.
Okay, go for it. Do it. Do it
Put on your space helmet, biatch. We're going to the moon. Here we go. Leadership style. I'm not ready for countdowns, people. We're not there at all.
We're not ready for countdowns.
It's no countdown time. Here we go. So I wanted to think about how much of Wano was kind of like, remember when I was talking inside of Dressrosa and I was talking about the leadership and how Luffy has this idea that he can be so powerful and yet not have to be a big deal. He's like, I don't want to be a big deal. I just want to be the king of the pirates. And now he is this weird armada. And I said, that's going to change. And it hadn't really changed in Zoe, and it hadn't really changed in Big Mama's Land and Cake, because it couldn't. That wasn't the place for it. Wano was, though. Luffy learned from his brother being dead and not being able to live up to his promises that he made, that if you are going to say and take, if you're going to have friends and they are going to be in peril, you are going to have to stand up and not just empower them, but be willing to put your own freedom at stake for their life. And that means that leadership is going to look like having to trade some of your freedom in order to have freedom. So in order to give freedom for others, the currency is your freedom. And I noticed, let's go ahead.
Well, there's something interesting in that, because you highlighted the line where in prison, where his freedom's been revoked, Luffy saying the line, "I've always been free." And I think there's something interesting in this that I wanna see if we can put together the puzzle pieces on this, of the idea of like,
I was just supposed to talk to.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's go there.
So literally, I think what Luffy has realized is that he, for the longest time, saw freedom as getting to do anything you want. And now I think Luffy is going to find that sweet, sweet balance, which Japanese culture is about, which is why I think that it had to happen in Wano, where in Japan, the idea of balance between all things is so important. Because now Luffy has learned, I don't have to lose freedom if freedom is inside me always. And if I choose to do the thing I'm doing, even when that thing is something I have to do, it changes the perspective and it gives me freedom within it.
Oh shit.
And then
finding agency and choice within anything, even if it is in theory obligation.
Exactly.
which is where
And
the
so
transformation from Gear 4th about seriousness,
into Gear
dedication,
5th.
sacrifice, and commitment into Gear 5th, which is about freedom to act. Oh, yes.
Exactly. Which is why it's a new era for him. It's it's his new dawn. And so I think he understands that responsibility comes with freedom. That in order to have leadership, you have to take responsibility for the well-being of others. He saw that with Tomo. He saw that with all the people who had eaten the smile fruit in the town and all the people who had given up their lives and come 20 years ahead. And with Momo having to give up on his dreams and stop being a child. He saw that you have to take personal responsibility for things in order to have freedom for yourself and others. And so, even though he values freedom, he recognizes that you have to prioritize the needs and freedom of others and over yourself. So, in order to still have freedom, you have to find the freedom inside. And then he's seen that when you inspire others, that's important because you're motivating them to have their own unwavering belief in freedom and justice. And he's encouraging the people of Wano to rise against the oppression. And he teaches them because he understands that's part of his responsibility is to teach them how to long for freedom. There is a saying that I love that I'm trying to remember who wrote it. You can look it up later. But if you want to teach people to build a boat, you don't just teach them how to cut the pieces, measure, and put them together. You teach them to long for the endless cycles of the sea. Because if you teach people to properly long for freedom and to long for it and then put it into action, then you are giving them the chance to actualize and have autonomy over their freedom and their responsibilities. And so you also go ahead.
So you finish, and then I'm going to add on to this because you've made me
And
realize something so cool.
He teaches people in his inspiration. He also trusts them then, and he delegates in a really big way, which we thank you very much, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And so then we see this when he says things like, they're like, Kaido says, you're going to need to worry about what's going on beneath because we have a fire and da-da-da. And Luffy literally says, no, my people got that. The only thing I have to do is beat you. Because Luffy believes 100% that within leadership and taking responsibility, part of that responsibility is trusting in the inspiration and the responsibility of others. And he realizes how responsibility is so important now because he realizes that his crew and all of those people took the responsibility to fight the fight below while he fought the fight below, redeemed to pet the boy. And so when he sees that, he realizes how important it is to have that responsibility and take it seriously, because otherwise you don't have trust amongst yourselves. And without trust, you can't work together towards having freedom. So then he also learned to have more empathy and understanding. Like you look at the way he deepens his empathy for the people of Wano. He realizes the struggles they've been under and that it isn't just a matter of wanting to do better. It's a matter of not having the energy to do better if the only thing you're eating is a tiny little bowl of millet and that rice would have been a treat on your birthday. He understands that not everyone will have the strength to fight if they're too small, if they've been pulled down. And so he understands empathy at a better level, which makes him a better leader. And then he understands that you have to have a balance between your strength and compassion. And so he starts to fight fiercely against enemies, but shows kindness and support to his friends in a new way like he never has before. And he took Momo on as his responsibility and kept pushing him in a direction that at first just felt unhinged until you realize he literally was trying to build a leader in Momo, and he was taking all of the compressed things that he'd been taught over a long period and parsing them out to Momo in big bites because he's like, you don't have time to do this in the way you should have. And then he has the courage for freedom. And then he realizes that he is going to need to have the courage for his own freedom and the freedom of others, even against all overwhelming odds. And so when I saw this, I realized that Wano is the place where Luffy was taught the balance of freedom. And you can't just go out into the world saying that you don't want to be a big deal. You don't want to take responsibility for people, because responsibility is necessary for true freedom. And if you're going to claim friendship, and if you're going to claim love for others and empathy, then you have a responsibility to help them find freedom with you. Otherwise, you'll never be free in your heart. And that's why he does what he does.
I want to add on to this in two ways. The first thing I want to add on is you talking about Luffy finding freedom within himself has made me realize something very cool. Hyogoro taught him flow in more ways than one. He didn't just teach him flow in the sense of hockey as a flowing thing, but of an approach of going with the flow, as
Yes.
he was the instigation in, hey, Big Mom showed up and you want to be afraid right now? Our training's not done. This is an opportunity, changing his own perspective to make it his choice, to take control of a situation as an entirely internal decision. That's so cool.
Yeah.
But another thing that I've realized now is I feel like we've both gotten a lot of flack for our take on Whitebeard. And let's both be frank right now. Both of us love Whitebeard, right?
Yeah.
The place I've gotten flack is for talking about how Whitebeard made his crew weaker by making them bow to him and live for him as his family instead of building them up as their own people, even though he believed in them. Never saying he doesn't, just that is how he got people to join his crew. You've gotten flack for saying the way he protected Fishman Island was too paternalistic. I think we highlighted, without realizing it, in two different places, the issue with Whitebeard's approach, despite being a good man, is that the way he is kind is paternalistic, whereas Luffy's kindness is about building people up. Guys, Luffy has 3 territories, okay? Luffy has claimed 3 territories. Each of them have protectors who weren't their protector beforehand. Shirahoshi has been built up by Luffy into someone who can protect Fishman Island. Luffy took a back seat during the Dressrosa saga, but his crew built up figures like Viola and Kiros to be defenders when they couldn't be beforehand. And in Wano, Luffy has built up Momonosuke, has built up, to my broken heart, Yamato.
Yes.
Isn't going with them as a crew member.
Yes.
Unironically crushed about it. Built up all of these people as defenders to protect this. All of the places he's taken as emperors, where his flag is not a statement of, I'll kick your ass if you mess with these people. It's, I have made this my crew by building them up and making their country stronger. By having them be involved in the defense and salvation of their islands, they are all made stronger. Each of them has been made stronger by Luffy's involvement in their life. And I don't think that's true of Whitebeard's territories.
I literally have a whole take on him giving Momo, like I have like 6 strong points on him giving Momo the flag because of how much that's true.
His flag is not a mark of, I am your protector, I am the one in charge. It's a mark of, I trust these people, know that they can handle themselves, and if I need to, I will help them.
Yeah, we'll go into that in a minute. Can I just address something that Smiley, I didn't say that right, says. They say they don't think Luffy is the big leader of Wano. I'm never saying he's supposed to be the big leader of Wano.
No.
This is Luffy's leadership role that he is learning to take.
His leadership role is building people up.
He said when he was in Dressrosa, he didn't want to be a leader. He just wanted to be the king of the pirates. And we've been talking about Luffy and other people as leaders for a long time. This is his growth arc. Of course, the leaders of Mono are Kinemon and Momo. That's just very basically true. But Luffy is a different, bigger leader by far because he's going to be king of the pirates.
But I think he is the leader in a different way. I think if he ever needed their help, they would come to his aid.
That's a symbol of protection.
Part of that force.
But it's not just a symbol of protection, his flag. It's also, the Straw Hat flag is also unity. So it's also kind of this moment where they're saying, we're friends and we stand together. And then it's empowerment and trust, because he's saying to Momonosuke, I trust you, that together we were here. I saw what it took to win this place back. I helped win this place back. Without me, it wouldn't be in your hands, but I trust you to keep it. And I know that this is your birthright. And I trust you to believe in people and to keep a free country with fed people.
I want to make a clarification, which is I don't think Luffy has ever been someone who seems to think of birthright as a concept. But he gives respect to people for the work they put in for what they see as their birthright. He thinks Momo has earned his birthright now. Like, he didn't treat him with any respect until he started to deserve it.
I agree. And I think now Luffy is saying that he understands that leadership supports and makes freedom.
Yeah,
I think
what
he
I think you're
changed
missing,
who he is
here.
now.
Simir, I think you're missing something, that when we're talking about leadership,
very much,
you are thinking of it in the sense of, I'm in charge, I'm telling you what to do. Luffy is leading here. This is territory he has claimed. They have followed his inspiration. I think no one would really argue that if Luffy needed help, the people of Wano would not be at his back, but not because he orders them to, but because they choose to.
At his back.
It's a different perspective of leadership, that they have willingly put themselves beneath him insofar as they would rely on him and trust that. They have seen him in a position of authority. They have put him before them in terms of trusting him to be their salvation, and would, without being asked to, come to their defense. It's a form of, we'll get more into this concept in our One Piece political series that we'll be making, honestly, but it's a different concept of leadership.
My thing is honestly, if Luffy wanted to, he could have come in and just rammed right over Momo. Momo can't fight against Luffy. He can't. If we're being literal and blunt, like me being literal and blunt, he can't fight against Luffy. He would not have beat Kaido. He wouldn't have. The reason they have their country back and he has the ability to retake his leadership is because Luffy helped him retake his leadership. And so I think that is an important concept, because then instead of just saying, like, I am in charge, I think what Luffy did instead is say, like, obviously we did that together, and I'm equally grateful to you for giving me the opportunity to have this fight. And for giving me the opportunity to become stronger through this fight. But the leadership I'm talking about isn't the leadership on Wano. It's the leadership in the larger world and Luffy's change in leadership. I'm not talking about Wano. I honestly don't give a shit about Luffy's leadership with Wano. I'm talking about him now as king of the pirates.
Leader of the Straw Hat Armada. Yeah, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet.
He was just trying to sit there and sit back and not be a real leader and think that he could just faff about the world and just be the king of the pirates. And I think because of Wano and because of what he's learned in Wano, he knows he can't do that anymore. He just can't. He's understood that there is a link between freedom, responsibility, and leadership, period. And he's different now.
I want to point out the difference, because I really want to get something across that I think we might be missing. And by the way, don't bully Simber Skull. Samir, I can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. I can't pronounce any name.
But they put something in about how to pronounce it, but I don't know how.
Yeah, it moved too fast. I tried to read it, but it was gone. And my second monitor is being very unresponsive today, so I can't control it. It is in God's hands at this moment. But to note the growth, Luffy claims Fishman Island because they say they need it. They are like, hey, we really need protection. And he's like, fine, I'll claim this island. We're done with Big Mom. He does it because he has to. He claims Dressrosa because they insist on it. And he's like, I don't want this shit. This sucks. Wano, he invites them to be part of what he is. And there's been a lot of theories about what the Ancient Kingdom is. And I've heard people say, oh, it's a pirate crew. Fucking wrong as fuck. It is going to be exactly what Luffy is. It is going to be a group of nations who have been invited into an alliance of friends, because that's what Luffy sees friendship as, who are all part of something bigger and broader across many groups, flying the same flag out of mutual trust and building each other up. Because we've talked about this ad nauseum, that is a theme of this series, that you make people strongest by inspiring them to act along with you instead of by conquest. And this idea of enforced hierarchy. It's a willing opt-in hierarchy where you're only below someone because you've seen something so special in them that you have bowed the knee and put them above you. Like the
Which
king,
is what we were talking about right-hand people.
like the king of Dressrosa and the new shogun of Wano, that they have said, I am a great leader and I willingly put this man above me. That's what they've done with Luffy by flying his flag.
Yeah, and also I think that I just think that finally we're going to see a change now in Luffy that I talked about in Dressrosa, that he understands for the first time truly because of the sacrifices he watched Momo have and Kinemon and all of the Red Scabbards, and because of the way that people put their body, hearts, and soul into this, he finally understands that real freedom isn't his personal liberty. It's about taking responsibility for others and leading with empathy, strength, so that you can lift everybody up into freedom. And so I think he finally understands, and we're going to get to see him take a little more leadership with the Armada and bring his Armada in, because I think he really understands for the first time that freedom isn't about fapping about having freedom for yourself. Freedom is about knowing that others will drink clean water and eat good food and have the freedom to make their own decisions and to protect themselves and to stand up for others. And I really feel that before this arc, as I've said time and again, that his idea of freedom and his idea of leadership were really, truly juvenile. And that now he has a really more grown sense of what freedom is going to mean to him as a leader.
So a lot of people are saying things like, but he sees them as his friends. Yes, but what people aren't understanding is Luffy doesn't get to define everything. And we'll talk more about this in the One Piece's political series, which we've done a lot of planning for.
Yeah.
But when Luffy says, I don't want to be a hero, people use that to mean, okay, Luffy's not a hero. No, Luffy is a hero. Because every single person sees him as a hero. They don't know he gave a speech about that he wants the meat. Luffy is a leader. Why? Well, because if the king of a nation flies some pirate's flag, he has put that pirate above him. That is how that works. He has mentally and in the image of his people said, this is someone I have sworn fealty to. Also,
and we can't disagree with that, because that's already set up within the One Piece world with all of the people who are under Whitebeard.
Everyone under him has chosen, and no true hero says they want to be a hero. Exactly. But like, think about this. If you have a friend who is your role model, who you look to for advice, who is the reason you have freedom, who you follow the lead of, who you will come to the aid of, and who you have prostrated yourself before and declared as being above you, that's your leader. It doesn't matter if they've declared it. It doesn't matter if there's an enforced hierarchy, because One Piece's system of hierarchy within the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, within the nation between nations that Luffy is building, is telling us something very specific. It's telling us that this is a better form of leadership, which is a hierarchy that is opt-in, where you are only ever beneath someone because you have decided to be.
Also, yeah, the power comes with permission, but also I don't want to change. Like, Luffy is a flat leader. I said it in Dressrosa. I stand behind it. Wherever Luffy is in the world, he's not sitting on a throne waiting for people to fight with him. He's fighting. He's fighting first.
He leads by example.
Leroy Jenkins every fight. And so it's a flat army where Luffy is part of things. But even like, take Wano aside, it is what it is. Like, it's the same thing with Whitebeard and all the other pirates who took places under their wing. But Whitebeard would be like, oh, I'm sorry, broken people. Let me take you under my wing to fix you and protect you. You can continue to be weak under here. Whereas when Luffy hands somebody a flag, he says, we in this together. If you really need us and you fought your ass off, we'll come back. But honestly, if I really need you, you come out for me. And everyone's like, yeah, we're here for each other. High five. Go on your way.
I understand why there'd be confusion between the two, but the way it's different than it's entirely different than servant leadership for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest ones is just Luffy at no point imagines himself as being beholden to people, and he isn't like leading you is some great burden, and because of that, I will serve you. He is above them, but only because they have decided so. They have seen a man
permission.
so great that they have accepted that he will be above them because they want that to be the case. They
Also, if
want
they
to
wanted to
be
not fly his
following
flag,
Monkey D. Luffy.
he'd be like, that's cool. That doesn't change our friendship. It doesn't change anything. I understand. If you don't want to fly the flag, who cares? Like this is a thing that you do by choice. If you don't feel like doing it, then it's not for you.
Little Joe, I have thought about that, and there's new evidence towards that. I'm going to talk about that with Mama more when she's caught up, because my theories around that aren't fully together, and I think the two of us working together can crack it. Ooh, this is so cool. This is one of those times that, like, our conversation on the phone ahead of time I liked, but getting it out live on air, I feel like we got to some of the more interesting depth of this conversation.
Well, because the thing is that I've been talking this entire time since
Alabasta Saga.
Yeah, when he was learning about how to be a good leader. We've been talking since Alabasta what that looked like, and I feel like we're getting to watch what it looks like when somebody goes from just a average everyday human to a really phenomenal leader. And Oda's done it over so many damn years. And so over the last little while, he's really highlighted it, and it was really important to me to pay homage to what Oda has done. And when I looked at how the world structure was, like when I looked at Emu and how he has to have celestial dragons because he has a control and power structure where they represent the ruling class and the elite. They need to exist. He has to maintain the position, so there's hierarchical structure. Meanwhile, Luffy is like, I want the opposite of that. I want people willing to stand up on their own and be their own thing, be their own leaders, not need my help. But I want to offer my flag and friendship so that people know that if they do need it, I am here for them.
I've had another thought, which is, I think the reason why we all love Whitebeard and why he comes across so good, but I think you can find all these faults, is Whitebeard is meant to represent, this is kind of the best you can do without reimagining how things are supposed to be.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, without reinventing the system that you're in, without a different approach to how this is about as good as you can do. Which is why Whitebeard is a good man doing good and raising his crew well, but there are limits to what that approach can accomplish.
I don't need to go through Wano, right, and talk all about its historical structure. We all know the ways in which it's attached.
Yeah, it's got it's a bowl. It's a big bowl. It's a big bowl with mountains sticking out at the top. The mountains are the islands.
No. Something that is important, I think, to note if we're going to do this is we looked at feudal Japan in Wano and what happened when in feudal Japan during the Edo period. 16, I think it's 03, 1867, 68. So we looked at the feudal Japan, and in Wano, that's samurai culture, home to all the different samurais, Kinemon, Kozuki Oden, etc. And then we looked at the shogunate system, and we compared the two of those. But I think what was really interesting is it showed that when we went in, we moved from Tokugawa Bafuku period in Japan, and we went to the Meiji Restoration, that it didn't just do one thing, it did two things, because the Tokugawa Bafuku took power away from the ruling class and from the emperors and moved it into the hands of the shogun, the Tokugawa, and turned it into a different thing. So I think it's really interesting because we saw that exact same thing happen here, that in Wano taking back over from this system, they're hoping to both modernize and maintain better cultural roots. So at the same time as it modernized in Japan during the Meiji Restoration, it also brought back traditional cultural roots of Amaterasu and Emperor Divine Right to Rule. It just changed what that looked like, and also worked about having equal constitutions and other pieces. And so that's why I thought it was really, really cool to watch Wano and watch him have that whole conversation about how you become part of the world, because you can see why Japan is worried. that they would lose some of the things that made them Japanese and have their culture thinned out. Like it is a scary thing to be in such a broadly connected world, and watch that your culture is going to go away. There's nowhere else in the world that is Japan with this culture. So it was really interesting to watch how he showed that fear, and at the same time he showed how it was going to both deeply reconnect it to the roots of Wano as it modernized as well. So it was just like paralleled to real life Japan. Oh, I want to talk about that thing that I think I noticed.
Okay, go for it. Also, I'm looking it up and I can't find any reference other than a 3D model someone made, not from the show or anything, of Kaido's dragon form having back legs, and most Asian dragons only have front legs. Or at least a lot of them, not most.
Well, the reason that I'm worried about, if I can just say things, I'm kind of trying to figure out because he goes forward and back in time, before I forget, in Wano at the same time. So there's this idea
I found one with back legs. I found an official figure with back legs, guys. It's Jover.
It's Jover.
All right, sorry, you
buddy.
keep going now.
There's this thing that happened in Japan, called the Zaibatsu, where a company, say the company is Honda, but I'm going to use, it's a ship company instead. The ship company would make the paint that went on the ship. They would make the bolts that went into the ship. They would make the metal. They would own the ore, the mining rights, the place where you got it. So one company would own literally every single thing that went into building that one ship. And in Japan, for a long time, there were a few companies that were Zaibatsu that had a complete stranglehold on different things, be they ships, be they anything. And it actually was made illegal. And it happened during the Meiji Restoration. And so I'm really looking forward, because you can see in here that Kaido kind of has this stronghold over them where they're making the fruit, and every single part of the fruit is done with inside of Wano, where they can keep it behind the curtains and put it outside.
Not all of the fake devil fruit, because the fake devil fruit materials were made in Punk Hazard and Dressrosa, right?
I know, but the materials could have come from somewhere else, but they would always be filtered through the one company.
Okay, I get you.
You can't, there's places in the world that they couldn't have the things they needed to make stuff, but they would put it through the one company, and the company would have like the rights to that. And so, and it's the same here. Nobody else was able to bring it in. And so I was watching him create the kind of the Zaibatsu, which is the Meiji Restoration at the time, but he was doing it in Tokugawa period, which was wild to watch him mix those like together in a very...
It references lots of periods of Japanese history in general in Wano.
I loved how it went forward and back, but I'm really interested to see in the future, like what he is going to be doing with that. Okay, so I was kind of thinking, when I was watching... No, I need to go. I promised your dad I could be ready to go, because we're going to see babies. So I was kind of thinking, I'm telling you, you've rendered off screen before. You got to be careful.
I have not done it. I refuse.
But you put 5 of them together, dude. It is what it is.
Look how close we are. Look how close we are.
Yeah, I gotta go soon. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
So I sent Drawk a message because, get out of here, phone. Quit doing stuff. Because I was thinking about how in chapter 766, Dr. Jack sent me, he sent Drawk and I a letter all about the cover page of one of the, of chapter 766. And the title of that page was Smile. And I thought that it was an interesting double entendre at the time, because we had gone through some of the Smile things, but I think it's even bigger now that we've gone to Wano. And I like to think that Oda knew what was going to happen and that we would be in Wano. I like to think that he has future notes. The man is way too good at doing things not to have that kind of thing. And I was thinking about how Oda's heart was broken, because when the master manga Naruto went away, that Naruto, sorry, that Shonen Jump didn't put him on the cover piece, which they always did. And so Oda put it in his... Yeah, he just said it. And so Oda put it in his cover page and then made a message to him and then called that chapter Smile. which was, I think, a double entente because it was, we learned about the smile fruit. But then later on, when we found out about how Orochi made everyone eat the remnants of the smile fruit, and everyone had to smile and be in a good mood and do what he told them to do, even if it broke their heart, they weren't being fed and they were being abused by their power. And so I started to think about how it was a triple entente. It was both the thing for that, and I think in some way it was also Oda's way of saying how he felt like he was being forced to do a song and a dance and follow Shonen Jump's lead at the same time that they were showing such great disrespect to a master of manga and how much it broke his heart. And so he called it Smile because he was forced to smile when he really was filled with rage. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I could see it. I'm not like sold, but I think it's possible. The issue is we'll never know because Japanese companies are very, even compared to American companies, are incredibly stringent with what's okay to say. So
I agree, but he then made it a chapter where we learned about the smile fruit. And I just thought to myself, once we saw Wano and we saw what Orochi did to the people, the citizens of Wano, that it almost felt like the manga makers were given smile fruits.
oh yeah, I'm in no way saying it's impossible. I'm not like 100%, but very, very
I'm
possible.
not saying it's a for sure either, but I love to create little theories out of crumbs that were given.
Fair, that is your thing.
Yeah, I love, yeah, Dr. Jack. So when I was listening to you read your letter again, because I don't know if you know this. I want to know, and Drawk won't tell me because he's a creepy djinn. What it is that I said that has now come to be true.
Well,
and so
not come to be true, but come to be a common theory.
A common theory. And I want to know which one it is. So I'm watching that one again. I'll watch it later again.
You were watching that one over and over again, yeah.
Well, because I made a bunch of theories. And now I'm trying to decide which one is the most true and which one you brushed aside the most, because I think the one you brush aside the most will be the one that's true.
You are welcome to investigate. I cannot stop you from watching our content over and over again.
Well, that's what makes it fun. What does this picture need?
This picture
more
needs
pictures?
a lot of things, but we can do it. It also needs back claws, but I know how to add that in. The thing is, I was looking at all the official renders and they didn't have back claws, so I was like, oh, it's a lung.
Marco would be a good addition to this picture, but it's not in any of the things I chose.
What would?
Marco.
Yeah, here's the issue. All of the other ones,
I was
adding at least every other image. I added both the things you said, but there was only one thing you were going to say for this one. And let's be honest, do we really need more than that? Do we really? Because I'm doing the render today too, so.
Nope, it's perfect. Okay, it's time for countdown.
Yeah, stamp. Come on, chat.
I've been listening to some of my plugs, and
are you realizing you're crazy?
Mama, have you already had a chance to look at some of the pictures? Yes, I had, from the Copernicus Museum. Thank you so much, Dr. Jack. I'm going to be using those next semester in a big honking ass way. I don't know who's counting. Where is my Katu?
I think Kaito is busy today. It's probably Father's Day stuff.
Who's counting down then?
Everybody. It's our old bit where everybody counts you down, and then you just decide when you see one.
Have you seen it, Drawk? It's lunacy. There's negative
this is
ones
what we used to
and
do.
fours.
And eventually someone would type a 1 and you'd start.
Everyone has typed a 1, Drawk. Everyone has typed a 1.
You gotta wait for the one that you care about. There you go. There's one.
All right. Hi there, YouTube. It's me, Mama Drawk. Drawk has confused me of making unhinged content.
I have suggested that you've made unhinged content. That's true. How dare I?
He has suggested it. And I disagree. So here's what I have to say. If you want to subscribe, lean your face in really close to the computer, hit it with your nose, then move your tongue down to press all, then slide it across and blink hard on the like, but like before it starts because you know you like it already. And if you're brand new here, consider subscribing. Why? Subscribing. Will it save your life? Sure. Subscribing. Will it make the world a better place? Almost certainly. Subscribing. Will it bring back more theater? Yes, obviously. It is the subscription of joy. So if you are against joy, don't subscribe. If you're pro Joy, subscribe. If you're a rubber boy, subscribe. We're talking about you almost nonstop. This is the place that you should come for the content where we talk about you. That's all I have to say about that.
Can I?
Next. What?
Can I say? Here's my
Pop
plug.
off.
Everybody in chat.
Pop off.
Sorry, not everybody in chat. All the YouTube commenters. Comment how hinged you think this is. Scale 1 to 10. How many hinges it has, so that we can get the people's opinion.
Hinge in Hingeville. Dare you?
Comment just hinged. A number 1 to 10 in the YouTube comments, and then I'll know how hinged you think this is. 10 is very hinged. 10 would be like, 10 is a Kamala Harris speech for how on rails and expected it is.
All right, I feel like I need a new thing. Someone mention anything at all. I'm gonna make it into my hinged plug. Ready?
Now we're doing an improv game. We need a suggestion from the audience.
Suggestion from the audience. Pie. Look, some people find this pie disgusting. If you find this pie is the most delicious cherry pie and not the most awful cherry pie, then you should already be subscribed. It's time to subscribe.
It's the most delicious cherry pie. It's so tasty I could die.
It's the most delicious. No, don't talk about boo piece. We're not trying to scare people off, Curdy Dan. Hold it together. God. Also, if you would like to send us letters or anything, we have a thing. It's an address. It's inside of our addressy area. The editors are going to put it right here. Editors, can you put the address in that black space that Drawk left perfectly up there? Ooh, look at that address. So shiny.
Now I removed the black space.
And then, if we get to 100,000 subscribers, I know it seems like a long way off, but you know what? So's the moon, and we went there. We went to the moon. It was a long way off. So we could get there, and then Drawk and I are going to get matching tattoos. That's Australian for tattoo. And then if it gets to 50,000, Drawk is going to become Marco. He's going to fly into the world. He's going to go around the entire planet, and then he is going to grow wings and be blue and yellow. That's how that works. That is all I have to say about that. Okay, normal one now.
1 to 10 scale of how many hinges this has, do you think?
Normal one now. Hey, YouTube. Do whatever. I'm a busy woman. Ciao.
It's crazy that, like, I don't think I have ever known a YouTuber with longer plugs than you.
I don't have plugs. This is my real hair. In the freezer. Take it out.
You fucking got me though. That one caught me off guard. TBH.
I got so much hair. I got lots of hair, yo.
Fucking killing me out here.
Everywhere I go, yo.
You know what?
All right.
He doesn't have back legs in this one. It's thematic. It's I'll add them in. That I can edit in post. The render I can't do in post. That's impossible.
Okay. Least favorite character.
Yes. Usually you do a least favorite character.
You know what's a problem? Kaido's never going to be my least favorite character. Dude has got it going on.
He's really likable as a villain. He's such a compelling antagonist.
Don't get me wrong. I despise Caribou, but he at least fed some people. My least favorite character is a person who comes up and stabs people in the back. Yeah, that's right, Garnica. He is my least favorite everything. Yeah.
I love how you finally say his name just so that you can put him in the least favorites accurately.
Yeah, well, up until then, I was busy peeling off his skin and dipping him in a hot boiling sugar.
Christ, my guy.
Bye, Guernica. Enjoy the yum yum time. Okay. And now my most favorite minor character.
True.
Hard call on the minor character scene. Did you feel like there was a lot of minor characters in this?
For me, Otoko.
Chica Flick, the one with the little baby rat.
Oh yeah, her. Yeah.
I love her. Toko is not minor. She's been through the whole thing. Tama is not minor.
Part 5 video, minor.
Yeah, but not in the whole thing. I think of them as being important overall.
Okay, fair.
Tama is way too big to not say that.
Like
I
someone
think
asked me what minor character I wanted to see in the
yes,
story again in the
Guernica
Discord.
is a really good painting, but you notice that it's about, World War II and Nazis, and that is how I feel about him. So it's an appropriate name. Yeah, I'm gonna say that my most favoriteest minor character is Iona Rat.
Girl who
That's what
owns
I've
a
changed
rat.
her name to. Iona.
Girl who owns a rat and had to fuck Queen.
Oh,
The two things we
ew.
know about her.
Oh, what's her real name?
I don't.
Is it Osame? Is that the one?
Osame?
Chuji
I
is the
think so. I
rat.
think it's Osame.
Oh, I'm so upset that she ever had to have relations with a man against her will. Osame. She
Oh,
gets to have a name. Okay. Top 5 character. Oh, Luffy. I've made a new Luffy.
there's a new Luffy tier on the tier list of Luffys.
Yes. It is Starshine Luffy.
Okay.
It's an S plus Starshine.
Okay.
And that is what Luffy is this time. What do you want?
Very
Just
well.
1 second. What do you
We're almost done, but I haven't rendered the gear 5th at all, but I kind of don't mind. I kind of like it looking flat. There is an attitude here, you know? I'm probably going to come back and render this off stream. Maybe I'll invite everybody by to hang out with me while I do this for a bonus stream this week.
I'm not
Just,
done. Here I
hang out with
go.
Drawk bonus stream.
Here's a thing to know. You know that part of the highway that I have to get over to get to you?
Okay.
It's backed up for an hour and a half. Somebody had another accident on it.
Hooray! So a lot less pressure on the time front for when we're starting dinner.
Well, I'll be leaving soon because we won't get to see the girls
Yeah.
in the hospital now.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. The people on my scale. Oh, the people in my scale. Oh, the Straw Hats are the people in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood. Oh, so hard to choose. And yet here I go. Number 1
Number 1
is a tie.
I'm so curious which way you could go.
I lied. Number 1 is Kaido.
I was so wondering if this would be the case. This is the first time since Doflamingo we've had a villain end up here, and I think it's deserved. I get it.
I don't have a choice. He just is.
If
we're talking about
that people find him underwhelming as an antagonist. Some people are like, oh,
no.
he's
You know what I call those people?
What?
Misinformed.
Are they people who weren't able to predict that he had a secret prophecy and understand how the fight would end before it did?
Those were people who were more interested in the nose guy than him.
Those are the nose guy fans out there. Nose guy fans. They have some feelings about Kaido.
Misinformed. Number 2 is a tie.
Okay.
And I don't want to hear any shit from either side because I love them both. It is Zoro and Sanji, and everyone can bite me. Everyone can bite me. It is a Zoro Sanji tie, and they earned it.
No, they did. They're fantastic. I love Zoro and Sanji in this. They're amazing. They're the top of their game, honestly.
Number 5.
But who's cool?
4. Don't make me choose.
The only way I can choose between Zoro and Sanji in this arc is if you ask me whose fight had better animation.
Yeah, but it's a Zoro Sanji tie, and who like the things
Any
they
other
did.
question, they're tied in my heart in this arc.
Momonosuke is number 5.
Okay, we have number 5 with Momonosuke.
Momonosuke. He had to free his mind, and the rest will follow. And that's what happened. 4 No.
Okay.
2, 3, 3. This is a really hard one.
I mean, this is the culmination of a gigantic arc. This is huge. This is such a large part of One Piece.
Shit on a turkey. I don't care. I got to do this. I'm gonna make 3. Yeah. Oh, McGill, you knew me. I'm gonna make it a law and kid tie because they took down
right
another
now,
damn emperor.
they are punching each other on the podium right now. They are so upset to be sharing space.
And what they can do is suck it.
Kids like, but Mama Drawk, didn't you see that she wouldn't have fallen in the hole without my cool railgun? And Law's like, yeah, but then she would have called for help if not for me copying my mentor's devil fruit because I have a cheater's fruit.
Exactly. And that's the same thing happening with Zoro and Sanji. So what's happening between 2 and 3 is just a lot of fighting.
The podium is full of bickering right now. I think Kaido's on top like, this is deserved.
Kaido is like, I am the real MVP.
You are so true.
And then number 4 is really hard for me because I've got all the kids in the Straw Hats deserve those places like huge. And Marco, like, come the shit on with Marco. And then
do we want to do something we've never done before?
Give it a Straw Hat hug?
No. I was wondering if you wanted to very quickly, they can be out of order, just run through a pile of honorable mentions.
Oh God, like I'm trying to decide if Zanesh is number 4. And Robin, sweet baby pickle Robin, you just brought it to that fight.
Fucking
And
demon mode.
absolutely. And then Usopp, you gave no shits. You brought it at every layer. And then we have Nami actually kicked ass this time too, but not as much as in last arc.
The last section, yeah.
In the last section. And then Odin. He killed it this arc.
What about what about Izo? Izo also, that's an honorable mention for sure.
Oh God, this is a hard. And Baby Chopper fixed freaking everyone and was like overwhelmed. And then everyone else has done the fighting, and Chopper is like, "Oh hey, yeah, I'll just be over here saving everyone now.
I'll just be busy for days.
I'll just be doing everything while all of you piss around and celebrate." God, that's hard. I kind of almost wanted to give it to Chopper now, and everyone else gets an honorable mention. Fight ends, Chopper's work continues. Like, Chopper's been fighting nonstop the entire time. All right. I gotta do a thing.
Yep.
I gotta do an unpopular thing.
Okay.
No.
Guernica.
No, it's Kaido. No, not Kaido. Odin.
Interesting. Explain.
Modern Odin, not old Odin.
Like Yamato?
Yamato.
I feel it. I feel it. Yamato kicks ass. Very important. Holds down the fort. Something.
But can I just say that I want to put a parentheses bracket around all of them and then put equals Chopper? Because Chopper should be getting like, you know what? No, Chopper can go sit up in S tier under Luffy today. You know what, Chopper?
Special place.
You're an S tier.
But we just want to acknowledge all the hard work you put in.
No, like curing a freaking virus by creating another virus, holding everyone alive, has been fighting for people's lives this whole time and literally fighting. And then when it's done, has to work harder than everyone else who's like, I'm just going to go and lay down. Chopper, fix me. I am injured. So yeah, MVP S tier Chopper. That's all I have to say about that.
Hell yeah. Before we say our goodbyes, we've skipped one of our closing segments, so there's one last thing you have to do.
Oh, what is it?
Top drip.
Oh. And I can't pick nakedness?
You could pick, did you mean the people in the hot spring at the end?
Ew, no, Drawk.
What?
Come
What do you
on.
mean?
Come on, Drawk. Get your shit together. It doesn't
What?
matter. I'm lying to you anyways. It's Luffy. Luffy is a gear 5 is top drip. And
Okay,
there's
usually
just
you
that
pick
is what it
2.
is. Oh, second top drip.
Yep.
That's
Today's
hard.
Bellamy is very small. It's a secret for you, chat. Secret that you all know about.
Did I already make King a top drip?
You did. Look, if you're bereft of options, you got Ryukyugu coming up with his pants and flower tats.
No, I hate him. I'm gonna make naked him top drip.
Naked king without his mask on.
Yeah, because he's got some wicked tats. Let's be honest.
King looks cool as fuck. If anyone is out here gonna tell me King doesn't look cool as fuck, they are lying to themselves
Naked
and
King
me,
is
and I've
a
lost all
vibe.
respect. By naked, you just mean stripped to shirt and no mask.
Yeah, like he doesn't walk around pantsless. Come on, don't be a pervert. Nom cookie, thank you. Yeah, I'm making it Naked King.
Okay.
It's not the old peanut. Black History Month King, you mean? Sure, okay, Curdy Dan. I'm in there. I'm in for that. Plus his wings, like nothing is cooler than King with his wings out. King is like, hold my beer, I just want to show you something. It's me.
Should we, when you catch up, do a stream where it's just you and me, like, spitballing theory ideas for 4 hours while I doodle?
I have things I want you to draw.
While
But
I
yes.
draw the things that you want.
But yes. Yeah.
Aren't you gonna hate when we do our reread eventually? Like, we wanted a few months off before we started it, but when we have other people on and I'm gonna draw what they want.
What? You're not just going to draw what they want, are you?
Of course I am. They're guests.
But Drawk.
Yeah. What?
It's me, your mama.
True.
Aw, that does make sense. But then can we do recaps about stuff and it's things I want?
Y'all, this might be too big and I might need to actually finish this in a bonus stream sometime this week.
Could you please? Thank you, Curdy Dan. Curdy Dan understands. All right, squishies. I love you. I hate to leave you, but it's Father's Day and Papa Drawk already insisted we do this like a weirdo.
The E-Girl project I am going to return to one day, but I need to do some painting practice. I need to come out
bonus stream. Bonus stream. Can I come on that bonus stream? Because I have something I want to talk about.
If you're available, you're gonna show up, yeah.
All right. Okay. I will let him know, everybody.
Really like Oak Tea Party. Did we? You know what? You know why I'm rating Oak Tea Party today? It's because my fucking monitor is not working and it's so hard to click anything that if I try to do something that isn't one of the streamers I regularly
What am I reading to next arc?
Shit, before we go, someone, when does the cutaways end? When do we stop cutting away? I forgot we don't have a guide anymore. Someone made a guide.
10,080 it is. 1,080. 10 million and 100. 10 billion. 1,080, Drawk. Put it on.
1,080. What? And yeah, that's enough. That's right. It's 1,080. Guys, we'll see you then. We'll be back to solve a mystery because, yeah, we love having you. Thank you for being here. This is such a blast. I'm so happy we finally got here. We're going to have a Father's Day. Later this week, I'll be having to do a bonus stream so we can finish this off. I'll get it done. You'll be there. Mama Drawk might be there. And until next time...
Squish on squishies.
We're wrestling with the second monitor. Wrestling with it's not doing its best today.
Squish on squishies.
Been lovely talking to you.